Hello and welcome to another See You Next Thursday on a week where real football is taking a break for internationals. The good news is, well, good for the lonely elderly women of Birmingham, that is that Wayne Rooney is back in English footy to continue being shite at management. Obviously, the new owners of Birmingham feel the club's not ready for promotion yet. It actually gives me a bit of a feeling of deja vu, to be honest, as the last time they sacked a manager when the club was in and around the playoffs or a bigger name, they ended up in a relegation battle. Last time it was Gary Rowett being sacked rather than John Eustace, and they brought in Gianfranco Zola rather than Rooney. But has shown similar levels of competence as a manager so far to Zola, so I have a feeling they might be going the same way again. We can but hope, though, after sacking Eustace. I mean, yeah, you're talking, yeah, you're in and around the playoffs, and you sack your manager.
He didn't do much wrong, did he?
No, it's
Eustace
crazy, innit,
didn't do much wrong at all. I couldn't understand that one. I think he's
Bill?
trying to find a job for Rooney. That's what I think it
Well,
is.
the thing is, if you go and have a look at his record, and even in the MLS, it's been abysmal. He hasn't even made the playoffs, I think. I think I read somewhere
No,
they
he
said
hasn't, no.
something like 28% win rate. You know, he's not done anything yet. This is a man you go and headhunt for your team. I mean, what on
I
earth
know.
are they thinking? I just don't get it. Oh, by the
It's
way, you
another
know,
Frank Lampard scenario for
yeah,
me.
I just thought I'd best introduce you. By the way, this is Ed25, our own very own Sport Billy here. Chris, he's obviously a
Good
bit
evening,
nervous.
everyone.
He's a bit nervous at the moment because Mrs. Bill, obviously, with Rooney back in town, Mrs. Bill could be a target, couldn't she, Bill?
She really could,
Well,
she is knocking on a bit now.
yeah, well, exactly. She must be getting on a bit now because she's like 100 years younger than you, and you're, what, 700 now, are you?
It's eight, I
So,
think.
ah,
Feels like eight.
yeah, looks like it as well. Haven't seen the latest pics. So how are you today, Bill? You had a good week?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Bit of a cushy week this week. I haven't done much work and just
Oh, it's
taking me
just like a
time. And I'm
peak
going
week.
up to Galt tonight for a couple of days in Blackpool, sunny Blackpool.
Oh, sounds wonderful. I mean, it hardly seems worth staying there, hardly seems worth calling it a tour, even if you're only going to Blackie, like, it's only down the road. Are you
It's a
gonna,
bit outside Blackpool. It's not exactly in Blackpool, but it's part of the Blackpool family. Pulton Le Fyle. It's a nice place.
oh, that's posh, that's posh. Yeah,
Yeah,
are
it
you
is
be going to see
nice.
the lights while you're there?
I don't think so. Only the lights of the club we might end up in tonight.
Say, I always
Yeah.
remember the stories my mum tell, when they were kids and they used to go and see the Blackpool lights. And my granddad used to have an old van them days, an old Bedford van, and all the kids, like from the street, would all pile in the back of this Bedford van because obviously in those days you didn't have health and safety and seat belts and all that. So it's just all the kids just piled
Piled
in the
in,
back of the van,
yeah.
but it had no windows. No windows at all in the back. So all they get, Milan and Grandad would have a great view in the front, right? But the kids in the back, all they'd have is there was a little hatch, in between the cargo compartment and the driver's seat that they could look out of. And they used to have to fight, taking in turns to look out and see like a tiny bit of the lights. And that used to really, Christ, I tell you what, it's certainly moved on these days, hasn't it? It doesn't really compete with having a mobile phone and that, does it? And
Not
Xbox and
really, I wouldn't say
PlayStation and
so.
that. No. Can't imagine why kids don't want to do those kind of things now, can you?
I think I
Anyway,
can, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got a bit distracted. So, should we start with the games from last week, and then we can talk about things
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Old Wazza and stuff afterwards if we got time. So we'll start.
Yeah, that's
Obviously, there
fine.
was no games on Friday, so Saturday, Luton versus Tottenham. Did you see that one?
No, I never seen anything of that. With it being the early kick-off, no, I never seen that, Tris. But good win for Tottenham.
Yeah,
1-0
cool.
isn't really convincing, but I think it's a decent result for Tottenham. They beat Everton the week before. Must have been a little bit buoyant. Good dressing room, must have been in a good shape, but they're still a terrible side. And I never actually seen the game. Did you watch much of it, Tris?
No, I was trying to figure out why I didn't see this one. I can't remember. Oh shit! Oh bollocks!
What,
Never
mate?
mind. Oh shit! Is that still going? Oh shit! The page crashed. Is that still on?
Okay.
That's still go. It's still going. I think. I wasn't certain whether it was still going, then I accidentally not to close the page by mistake. Oh my god! I wasn't sure whether that was still going. Yeah, it's trouble using a laptop. I'm not used to it. You know, when you knock the pad to
Yeah.
like change the page, instead of that, I knocked in the wrong bit and it shut down it hit just I'm just my luck. It hits the cross, doesn't it, in the corner, closes the bloody window. Like anyway, so yeah, no, somehow I missed that. I don't know why I didn't watch that one. I don't know what was on
It
at the
was the
same
early
time.
kickoff, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's not
Maybe you
early
were
here, mate.
doing something.
It'd have been like
No, probably wouldn't
7
be.
here, PM, 7 or half 7 here, because it's like midday. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Jim just not noticed the time or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
no.
possibly.
To be honest, I've got to be honest. After watching the way Luton have played this season and watching Spurs against us last week, it isn't a game I'd really have gone out my way to watch. To be honest,
No,
anyway,
no, I'm the same. I'm the same.
they're a very poor side, Luton, and
Yeah.
but Spurs might have been on a high, after the excitement of such a convincing win with 15, 18, whatever, however many men they had over 9. It must have really, given them a boost to their confidence. That win, though, wasn't it? I mean,
But Postecoglou's doing well, isn't he? You've got to give him that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of his. I've never seen much of him, but I know you're a fan of Postecoglou, and I like to see people coming up and stepping up to the plate, and he seems to have changed them. I thought Harry Kane would be a big miss for them, but he might have actually done them a favour by leaving, because more people are getting involved, and it's not just around Harry Kane no more. It's like the likes of Son and Kulusevski and even Richarlison. They look a more rounded side than what they did last year. Seemed to be everything relied on Kane, getting the ball to Kane. And I think he's a wonderful player, don't get me wrong, Kane's a wonderful player. But I think it's just helped them, where I thought it might hinder them. I think it's helped them.
To be fair, he does seem to be a bit of a Jonah. I mean, Norwich, as soon as he left, pretty much they won a trophy. He went on loan there, and pretty much as soon as he'd gone, they won a trophy. I think championship, like. And then he went on loan to Leicester, and pretty much as soon as he left, they went on to win the Premier League a couple of seasons later. So maybe he's just a Jonah, and Spurs will go and win.
He might be a Jonah,
yeah.
Yeah.
He might be a great player, but like you said, he does seem to be they're better off without him, which is a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a fantastic player, but he isn't. They do look better without him. I mean, how can you lose a talent like that, quality like that, and look better? It's bizarre, but yeah.
I think they tried to put everything through Kane. Everything seemed to revolve around him, get the ball to him. He's good at laying off, and he's a good target man as well. But everything seemed to go through Harry Kane. But they seem more rounded now, and probably a better side without him, which is unusual for someone who's so talented to lose him and look better. But it seems to be working.
He was one of their most creative players as well. Created most of their chances.
Yeah.
So it's really surprising. Well, there you go. Yeah, I suppose it happens. Sometimes it helps, doesn't it? It's totally different from when they lost Bale and they went and spent the money on Dross. This time they haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't done that. They've bought well by the looks of it. I mean, their keeper's fantastic.
Yeah, he looks good. Looks a good keeper.
Yeah. But anyway, so as we didn't see that one, should we move on to the next one? Burnley-Chelsea, did you watch that one?
No, I didn't. Not one of what I wanted to see, to be honest with you. I think Burnley are a poor side, and I think Chelsea are a poor side. Probably proved me wrong this week by winning there, but You know,
I don't think beating
it's a good
Burnley
result for them,
improves.
actually.
Yeah, but I don't think
No,
beating
and I know
Burnley
what you're saying.
proves you to be a good side. To be fair.
No, but you know, they've been struggling against teams of Burnley's ilk this year, and they haven't really put much together. But that was a decent win, you know, away at Burnley, and it's, you know, are they starting to move up? Are they starting to get a bit of confidence? As you know, are they starting to fulfil some of the promise that they were hoping for? And it's a good result, you know that, and so, you know, Chelsea are maybe back on track. I think it's a bit early to say that, but maybe they're getting starting to get into the manager's way of thinking and playing a bit better. We'll have to see. It'll be over a period of weeks, not just 1 week.
The money they've spent, you'd have to expect them to improve. So, you know, and against teams
You
like
would,
Burnley,
yeah.
Burnley's a great team to face if you want to get your confidence up. If you're a team like Chelsea, because they'll give you so many chances to win the ball back high and have a
Yeah.
go at their defence. That, like, you know, that's the kind of team you really want to play. I would think.
And they play about a defence so much, Burnley,
That's what I
don't they? You know,
mean. Yeah,
without having the players to do it. So they will give chances away. And
yeah.
Chelsea have capitalised on that, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I was saying that's but what I was trying to refer to. It's the way they pass about the back. It's just ridiculous, and it doesn't make sense because there isn't the players there to do it. Their goalkeeper's hopeless. That Trafford gonna be. I don't
Yeah.
understand that by at all. Really don't. And the rest of the team's not very good either. It's just, yeah, they're a very average side at best in the Championship, let alone in the Premier League. I don't know how they walked away with it last season.
Well, but
I
they did
really
though,
don't.
didn't they? You know,
Yeah.
they done really well, and people were expecting decent things of Burnley, but it certainly hasn't come to fruition up to yet. I think he's trying to play like Man City play, but he hasn't got the squad to do that, and they're falling down on the face every week, it seems.
Yeah, they're trying to be better. They're trying to be Man City light.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not a good side. He could be a casualty, you know, early on, because they were expecting far better things than what's happened up to now. You know, we say this, and I don't think he should get sacked. You've got to give him more time than that. But, you know, if you're looking for the next manager to be ousted, I think he'd have to be in the frame.
Yeah, do you really? I don't think he's in the frame at all. To be honest, I think they'll keep him just because he's. You know, I think they've invested in him heavily and they see him as a right.
Yeah, the thing with me is if they have invested quite a lot of money, and if it's not coming to fruition, and they're going to be on the verge of going down again, that could actually change things. But we'll have to see on that. Maybe they'll pick up a bit. Who knows?
Yeah, I can't see it. I really think they're going to stroke. They're going back down. I think we can be sure of that. To move on then, Everton Bournemouth. I take it that was the game you were watching.
Now that was the game I watched. Yeah, decent performance by Everton, I must say. I think we're in the top one for chances created, scoring chances created, and another 24 this week, I believe. We did have a lot of chances to score, but it must be said, what a bad side that Bournemouth are. I think they're possibly the worst team in the league, and that includes Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. They looked absolutely awful. We could have and should have scored a lot more, and they didn't offer very much at all. Again, for Everton, important thing, getting the first goal and getting it early. It makes a massive difference, especially to Everton, because the chances they've been missing. But they played really well. And another thing I'd like to mention is and I don't like to say this, the best thing that happened was for Ghana to get injured in the warm-up. Now, I don't mean that nastily towards Ghana Gay, but he got injured in the warm-up. And it meant that James Garner moved inside alongside Onana, who was apparently going to be dropped anyway. But it made a massive difference to the creativity of the side. We've all been calling for Garner to be, James Garner, to be the main man. And he was, he played really well again. That's, every time he's in the middle, we look at a totally different side. But he wasn't supposed to be in the middle. It was supposed to be addressed at Ghana Gay. But as it turned out, he got injured in the warm-up and it actually helped the side, and we created a lot of chances. And Calvert-Lewin looked back to his best, actually. He had a really good game.
What did say on the Everton site, Joe, when it was mentioned that he got injured in the warm-up? My reply was, I just said that maybe your luck's finally turning. I hate, I'm a bit harsh maybe on but maybe it's finally a bit of good luck that you needed,
Yeah, it helped. I think it certainly helped.
Yeah, I think this has been coming, to be honest. I think you've been better than the results you've got, though I think Seamus disagrees. He says he thinks after what you've said about how bad Burnley are, you do realise that they're gonna batter you next to when you play them now. That's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we played great against Aston Villa away in the cup. Battered them, battered Brentford at Brentford. And then we play Luton and get whacked by Luton.
First game, Fulham, you battered them as well, but you didn't get the result. I think you've been really good this season in the main. You've had, 1, 2 maybe bad performances, but mostly you've had
two, definitely. But, I think with the standard we've got, that you've got there, I think Everton are going to be okay this year.
Yeah,
I'm hoping as well. But a big thing on the 25th is going to be if we get a points deduction, and that could change things.
That's the issue.
If we get 9 or 12 points and you're back down on the bottom, the confidence will go, and it's going to be a war of attrition more than anything for the rest of the season.
If there's a manager you want that's going to get your backs to the wall and fighting for the team, if there's ever a manager you'd want in that position, I think Sean Dyche should be in the top 3 of any managers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about even the likes. I'd rather have him than someone like Pep Guardiola in that kind of situation. In a relegation dogfight when you're in, when it's all against you. If anyone could get it to, could get you to, I think he'd be the one. So.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I was really disappointed with Bournemouth. I know you've been saying it for them, but they're a really bad side. I haven't seen much of them, but to be honest with you, they didn't look interesting half the time, and that's a bad situation for them. It might have just been the quality that they're lacking, but at times, they looked a really, really poor side. Gave the ball away a lot. We were disappointed only to get 3, because it could have been 6 easily. We missed a couple of really good chances. But I was happy with them. I was happy the way they played. They weren't brilliant, but they were good, very good actually. But it bodes well that we have got a side there that are possibly going to end up mid-table. I put them down for 12th, I think, at the start of the season. And if things go all right for us on the 25th, and we keep playing like we are playing at the moment, as you say, some bad results against Fulham, and Wolves, which we could have easily won them 2 games, or should have won them 2 games. It might be a different story. We'd be easily mid-table then. But, that's in hindsight.
Yeah, it's one. I
Did
think
you
you'd
watch
be.
any of it, Tris?
No, I was watching a different game, which we'll get to in a bit. Like, yeah, I was going to watch it, but I thought, no, because every time I've watched you, you've been really good, but not scored the goals. You know what I mean? And I've not got a result.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought, like, if I'm going to jinx someone, I'd rather jinx Man United. Unfortunately, it seems I jinxed Brentford instead. But you know what it's like. You have to give it a try, don't you?
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle, Chris, to be honest with you. They, they'd have to change something drastically to get even back on track. They're going to be in a relegation fight. I know you predicted that anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're not a good
Oh, they're
side at
awful.
all.
They really are awful. I'm shocked at how bad they are. You think you know when you look at what they've spent and that, and you know obviously they've had the previous season to build as well, build on, but they look to have
Yeah,
got worse if anything. Oh God, I got
yeah,
hiccups now. Sorry. Oh shit, got hiccups. That's just typical, isn't it? Yeah, I mean they brought in
yeah,
that Iraola for getting rid of Gary O'Neill, and it seems to have actually made them worse, if anything. I've been really disappointed
yeah,
with
it does.
Iraola. I've got to be honest; he just doesn't seem to have a clue what he's doing in English football. His team looked really good when I watched them in Spain. Like his teams always looked like looked really good, but they don't seem to be playing anything like the teams that you saw. That he was producing in Spain. I don't know what's happened. It's really
I
odd.
know, and I like that Billings for them. I think he's a decent player, but he was awful as well, and that disappointed me because I thought, I wouldn't mind Everton going in for him because he looked last year. He looked a really decent player, but even he wasn't up to his usual standard. There was no one there you could pick out and say, he wasn't. He had a good game in, or he didn't. None of them did, and the keeper was awful as well. And that's
Yeah.
always it.
No,
And
they don't have a good keeper.
he was pretty poor, I must admit.
No, I don't think his name's
But,
poor. I think they bought him from Neto. He's one of
and
those.
Dick, go on,
He's
Chris.
one of their potluck buys. Do you remember them? You used to buy them from Netto, and they'd have like packs of burgers, and you might get 3 burgers in a box or 24. You just didn't know it was potluck. You had no idea what you were buying. I think that's what they did with the keeper because he is fucking god awful. Fair play.
And the centre half was terrible.
Mm.
Really bad. I mean, they gave us the first goal after 7 minutes or something, 9 minutes. And and after that, they were never in the game, really. They had a couple of attacks, but never produced much. It didn't look very likely that Everton were going to get beat from the first minute. And you can't say that very often. But Everton played okay. So I was happy. I'm very happy with the results. And let's hope these and start playing. And the next game's not one of the easiest. So we'll have to see where that goes.
Oh, I'm dreading it. I always dread the thing. I get that sick feeling ahead of it because you just think you can't really win when you're Liverpool, not being funny. Or if you win, everyone's just like, it's only fucking Everton, for God's sake, they're shite. Whereas if you lose, you never hear the end of it. Well, so you think, and their 2 sons just like, that's it. Your life is hell until the following derby. That's it. Even if you get a draw, it's you just never hear the end of it. Honestly, mate. Oh, you don't hear from them
Yeah, Matt.
if we win. Obviously, if we lose or draw, that's it. Oh, non-stop
It'll be a good
bombarded.
test for us. It'll show us where we are more than the other games that we played. I think, if we get a good hiding, we know that that we're not even improving. But if we make a game of it, even if we get beat by a goal, it's not the worst results against Liverpool. We've been playing very well, to be honest with you. And,
Sweet.
it's one I'm going to look forward to watching.
Mm. Yeah. Again, it's you're in a win-win situation really. If you lose, well, you're playing against a team that
They're
should beat
expected
you.
to, yeah.
Yeah, they should beat you, really. You know, they've spent, okay, we probably haven't spent that over the last 20 years. We have spent more, but in the last few years, like, obviously, you've spent believing your book so badly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a win-win for you. You know, you can just go in and if you do get any kind of results, fantastic. If you don't, well, it's Liverpool. You know, how can we expect to beat them? And that reminds me, have you seen Welcome to Wrexham yet?
No, haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, I'm gonna say because you might want to the latest episode. They put up a map of like where teams are. You know, football teams are like, and obviously they choose people. You know, the producers and that. It's American, so they don't seem to actually know where teams are. They have Brentford in the northeast of England, for example. Yeah, Cardiff and Swansea are both in England. But guess where? I mean, Liverpool is one of the few that's actually in the right place because obviously they know where Liverpool is. Everyone knows where Liverpool is, but obviously they've done it. You know, it's obviously like the people where there's the village my mum and dad lived in Spain, where you'd say to them about Everton, and they'd all be like, "Where is Everton anyway?" You know, no idea.
Yeah.
That's if they even knew who Everton were. I mean, most of them didn't even know who Everton were. This is truth. Honestly, but they're not very well educated there because obviously women didn't go to school and stuff until recently in Spain because they weren't allowed to under Franco and that. So, you know, a lot of them didn't have a clue about anything. So it's not really their fault. But the ones that actually like football, even they didn't know Everton was in Liverpool. Honestly, they didn't know where it was. But anyway, this Welcome to Wrexham, they put them on the map. You're in Anglesey, mate. Pretty much, you know, just on the edge of Anglesey. Like, honestly, well,
Yeah.
you know, you do have a very strong Welsh support base.
Oh, we
So
do, yeah.
yeah, so maybe they
We're
just got to maybe they just
multicultural,
assumed multicultural. I don't think culture's a word that's ever been even heard in Wales, let alone exists. Culture, my ass. Oh my god, they make Jim Royle seem cultured. And I can say that because sadly I'm part Welsh. Hey, in fact, funnily enough, a lot of my mum's family come from Anglesey, where partly they were in hiding there, shall we say. They were not literally in hiding, but I don't want to get into the assassin stuff and that, like, you know. Anyway, for the mob, yeah. No, seriously, long story, but let's not just get into that now because we're talking about football. Should we move on to the next one? It's Fulham Sheffield United. Fulham won
Right,
3-1.
not one that I wanted to watch or
No.
did. It's, you know, two pretty poor sides, aren't they? You know, you'd expect Fulham to beat them, and they did. But it wasn't a game that you'd actually go out your way to look at. You know, if you're picking a game on the live streams to go and watch, it certainly wouldn't be Sheffield United Fulham, would it?
I right
Or
down
Fulham
near the
Sheffield
bottom.
United.
It's just around about like Burnley, Chelsea, Luton, Tottenham, or Everton, Bournemouth. I'd say, to be honest. It really, actually, I've got to say, the Saturday games, none of them were particularly appealing, were they? As it,
No.
Even like as a, you know, unless it's one of your team, you know, your team's playing as one of them, none of the games are really like, you know, really appetizing.
For the neutral aren't going to look at them, are they?
No, even the, you know, Everton or Man United, Chelsea, they're big club for the teams they're playing against. It wasn't the most exciting teams to face. Like, so it was a very disappointing Saturday. I got to say, it's quite an odd one. But yeah, I didn't really watch it. But I'd have been shocked if Fulham hadn't battered them because they're possibly the worst side I've seen in the Premier League. I know you're going to say Watford and because they beat you 7-0, so they must be awful. Yeah. No, they were really, really, really poor side. Sheffield United and Fulham aren't much better, but they're good enough that they could beat them. And you expect them to stay up purely because Burnley, Luton, and Sheffield United are so bad that
And Bournemouth, throw Bournemouth in there as well.
Yeah, you'd say that it's those four that are fighting it out, aren't they? Really? So
Yeah, but as you
Yeah,
say, you're not going out your way to watch that game, are you? Really,
no.
if it was on and there was nothing else on, you might have a little look at it. But it's
End of
not
the
one
se-
way you'd say, I'm not watching this game because I'm going to watch the Fulham Sheffield United game.
Unless it was the end of the season and they're fighting, it's a relegation
Yeah,
dogfight. Then it might be an interesting game, but at this point of the season, it's a bit meh.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is me.
sadly.
Yeah,
No
absolutely.
offense, Fulham and Sheffield United fans, but like they're just not. They don't play good football. They're not really exciting to watch. They're just yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
should we move on to
absolutely.
Man United Brentford then? I thought Brentford were gonna get that. They were definitely the better side. It must be said for almost the entire game, but United managed to pull it out the bag right in the final dying seconds of the game, which is typical.
With Fergie time, yeah,
Yeah,
bit of Fergie
played on
time
for an
coming in
extra
there.
played on for an extra 40 minutes just to make sure. I've got to say,
Yeah, Scott McTominay coming in and
yeah,
getting a couple of goals.
I
So, go
I
on,
know,
Trish.
I know this is wrong for me to say it as a Liverpool fan, but I was actually really secretly pleased for him because, like, he's one of those players gives his all, doesn't moan in the press, doesn't doesn't cause hassle or anything. He just gets on with it, gives his all. It's nice to see a pro like that come on and rescue his team, even if it is Man United. Though obviously, I'd rather they lost. But I've got to say, watching them, the first thing you're watching is Onana's shit. Weak wrist, positionally poor, goes the
Oh,
wrong,
yes, Paul.
steps the wrong way and then has to dive back. He's awful goalkeeper, and I don't know what people are thinking. I don't see him coming good at all because he's just basics. He's getting wrong, and you can't fix the basics at this age. It's too late. He's just a poor
No,
keeper. I don't understand why he's been rated. I've said this all along. This isn't something new. I've made a point of watching him in this game just to see if I would, if there was anything in particular he could, if it was fixable. But I'm watching this just a poor keeper who's been getting away with it rather than actually being good. I don't understand how he's made it this far, really, to be honest. I think,
no, I think it's been a bad signing. Everyone was going on about how bad De Gea was, but De Gea is on another planet to what Onana is because he, he did go down the neck, De Gea, but he still made the vital saves and he was basically okay. Not good enough for a team that's fighting open to fight for the league. But Onana, he's cost them so many points up to now, and
yeah.
he's not good at all.
The only thing they'll end up having to do is cover for his weaknesses rather than actually because playing to his strengths. I think is the problem you've got because he's so weak. He's gonna always be a problem rather than a help. That's the
Yeah,
the other
he's not
thing.
bad with the ball at his feet. I'd say,
No,
he's looks pretty decent with the ball at his feet. But
I think he's
as regards basic keeping, his handling's awful, his positioning's awful.
he's confident
He
on the
does, he's
ball,
not that
but
commanding. Yeah, he's confident. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think his passing's actually any good. I mean, he's played Maguire into trouble already. Remember, cost him a goal. He played somebody into
Yeah,
trouble in this game as well, if I remember correctly. And he gives the ball away a lot with his kicking. I'm not convinced he's particularly special with the ball at his feet. He's just confident when it's short. When you're having to play around. Doesn't mean he makes the wrong choices a lot of the time. Makes the wrong pass and that. But I've got to say, he wasn't even their worst player. Casemiro's just looks like
oh yeah.
he looks like he's aged about 10 years overnight. He's playing he's so slow and
He
he's
does
so
look as though he's come for the money there, doesn't he?
yeah.
He's had a good reputation over the years and
Mm,
played for some wonderful sides, but he looks a shadow of anything that's gone us in the past. He just
mm,
looks an awful player and lazy as well. I thought he
mm.
looked lazy.
Oh yeah,
So
because he's so slow to get back. Because actually, could that I made some notes while watching it about obviously Onana weak wrist, positionally poor. Casemiro just put way off the pace, still rash with his tackles and slow to get back. I mean, this is a defensive midfielder, but he's getting caught in the opposition box and he's not making any attempt to get back and help out. That's really poor. You can't do that. Your first thing, you should be breaking your neck to get back. You know, when
Yeah.
you're a defensive midfielder. But
How
he
they
just looks
actually
so.
won that game is amazing. You wouldn't have put a penny on it, would you? You know, even
Not
when it
now
was
Fergie's
1-0.
gone.
Even when it went, even before it got to extra time, you wouldn't have put a penny on United winning that. They looked awful as well. They weren't creative enough,
Mm.
you know, but, and they seem very lacklustre, the whole side. And I think that's been from the start of the season. They started off really poor. And the position in the league isn't that bad. But they haven't played well. They haven't played like a team who finished third, they did last year. They just don't look a side that's going to threaten the likes of Manchester City or Liverpool, which I'm sure they were hoping to.
I still think they messed up their pre-season badly, and it's something you just, it sets you so far back on the. It can take you months to recover. They might, they've got a chance now during the international break to reset a bit, but obviously most of the players are away, so they can't work with them to get them back, to get them up to fitness and that and improve things. So I
Yeah.
think they're in real, they're not going to be in real trouble. Like they're not going to be in danger of relegation, but they're not going to be where they should be. And
No.
obviously there's problems behind the scenes there with players being basically just spoiled brats. So yeah, added
How
on
that
top of that.
Marshall gets near the side, I don't know either. He's such a lazy player, Marshall. You know, when he comes on and that, I don't know why they've even got him near the side. I wouldn't want him at Everton. I really wouldn't. He's absolutely awful.
I'd want him at Everton.
I know you would.
I'd be very happy if you signed him, but no, he's not. He's definitely. It's astonishing that A, they signed him in the first place, but B, that he's still there all these years later. It's just
Yeah.
it beggars belief that Dross like that manages to keep a place at the side with as much money as United have to be able to replace him. I mean, it's astonishing.
Yeah. Yeah. They look off the pace, don't they? They don't look a threat to anyone in the top 3 or 4, do they?
No.
The Arsenals and the Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, maybe. United don't look at the races at the moment. That might change, could change, should change, but whether it does, we don't know.
I've got to say on Brentford, they do not look a very good side either. They
No?
look well off the side they've been. I thought they'd be a lot. I did say at the start, before the season started, I did say I didn't think they'd be as good this season, but that was because I thought the changes to the way they're refereeing the games and that I thought might hinder them. I didn't expect them to just be terrible this season, and they have been. They've been really bad. They've just not looked
Yeah,
like.
they've been poor.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I mean, the only change I can see is they've lost Raya, but there's not really like they've lost anybody really majorly important to the way they play. I mean,
Ivan Toney probably. They're missing him for what he
they
was
missed him
last
for most
season.
of last season as well. For the end of last season, it didn't seem to bother them
Only
much.
the end of last season he missed him, but
Yeah,
he's a big influence for them.
yeah.
And look, they do not look like the side they were last year. That's for certain.
And that Wiss is just abysmal. I don't understand how he keeps getting picked. How he's got to his side in the Premier League is astonishing.
No.
I mean, you're talking about Marshall being lazy, but I'd rather have him than Wiss. I mean, he's one of the worst players I've seen in the Premier League, to be honest. He's terrible this season, I mean, not overall.
Yeah, they've got
Really,
some
really poor.
bad players.
Yeah, they don't look a good side at all, and I think they're in real trouble. They keep chopping and changing, and the changes they make don't seem to be helping. So I see them
Yeah.
struggling. Yeah, that's a real struggle for them. Yeah, fancy if there wasn't so many worse teams in the league, the Lutons, the Burnleys, and that they're in that level with Fulham, where they're just no good.
No.
But
There seems a bit more of a divide this year between the better sides and the poor sides. There looks more teams in the poor end of the table, that could get dragged in. I think you've got like half a dozen teams, maybe 7 teams are who are up there. Your Liverpool, City, Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham look a decent side. But after them, there's not much you can say. They're going to make a little bit of a run possibly for Europe.
You'll have Ed 14
sorry.
and you didn't mention Arsenal. Oh.
Yeah. Arsenal look half decent actually, but there you go.
They're certainly up there. They're certainly not going to be in a relegation battle or in this bottom half. Let's be honest.
No, they're not. No.
A major change for them to end up struggling. I think they're definitely up there. I mean, they should be with the amount they've spent, but that's not the point. They are definitely up there. Is the point? Yeah.
Yes.
There's not really a lot more to say on that game, though, is there? Wasn't like there was, apart from the end, there wasn't much of a match, to be honest. Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, then was the final game on the Saturday. 0-0 draw, but I've got to say, Forest are really taking huge steps forward this year. You know, they're really looking a much better side now.
I watched the Palace side. I watched the Palace game actually, and they've got something like 7 players out at the moment. And they're struggling because of that, you know. And although I don't think Forest are great, I thought the Palace, possibly and probably because of injuries, they didn't look anything like a decent side at all, Palace. And I like Roy Hodgson. I think he's done really well there, you know, to come in, step in like he did. And he got them playing half-decent football, but the squad is so weak that when they're missing players, they're a bad side, a really bad side. And as you say, Forest, they work hard. They haven't got the greatest players, but they seem to be getting, you know, finding their feet in the Premiership. And I think they could well avoid relegation. I think they could end up mid-table.
Yeah, I think they're mid-table. They're mid-table this season. I think they're better than Fulham and even Brentford. I think maybe now they're probably at that level, so above them now. I got to say that Murillo they've got fabulous player, left-footed centre back as well. Well, I tell you what, I did. If I was
would you take him? Yeah.
From what I've seen of him, obviously, like I've only seen him play I think this might even be the only game I've seen of him. So but like if he's that good, if he continues to play like that, I can't see how half the Premier League or the Barcelona, Real Madrid, everyone will be looking at him if he carries on like that, because he was wow. It was one of those performances that made you sit up and take notice. I think even discounting the run he made, where he nearly scored with his wrong foot after slaloming past about 6 players, he looked really good. I really liked it. There was another one as well. They've got Dominguez. That was the other one that I thought looks good as well. Obviously, they really miss a one of you. Without him, they struggle. They haven't got a proper goal threat. He is a real miss for them.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, they look a much better side of him up there. I think they'd have beaten Palace if they'd have had him up front. Without him, Chris Wood just offers nothing really. He's not. He's a plan B.
He's a journeyman. He's always been a journeyman. Wood. He'll do your little job, you know what I mean? Get you the odd goal, put himself about, but he's not someone who you'd say, "Oh, I'd really like him in my side." You know, he's just a weak player.
Throw on late in games, stick him up right up top, and then pump the ball up to him when you're losing and you need to try and fight back, you know what I mean, get back into it. That's all he really offers. And
that's how I see him as well.
That was a real issue. They, and they never looked. Got to say with Palace, I'm really worried about them. All these players looked out on their feet after an hour. They got injuries galore, and a lot of them are muscling, soft tissue injuries. That's normally a fitness thing. They're only 8 games in. They've not been playing in Europe. What I know, how can these players be so tired? I mean, you seen them all. They were acting like they'd been, at the end of a long, hard season, and they were all, they'd been playing 3 games a week for the last 6 months or something. Is what you looked at there. That's what they looked like, and
They
absolutely
did
dead
look
on their
tired.
feet. They were dead on their feet. You're thinking this is 8 games in, even if you played every game. It's only fucking 8 games, and you've had an
Yeah.
international break. You've had you've had plenty of time out. You don't play in Europe, so you've had the midweek off every week. The training must be wrong there. The training must be a real problem. They need to look at it because that lack
I
of
think the
fitness
squad.
is terrible.
I think it's the squad depth is very weak indeed. When
They
they can
shouldn't
put
be
all the
able to.
players out, then half decent, not a half decent side, let's say, but better than relegation fodder, and
Yeah.
possibly up to mid-table. But when they've got injuries and they've got to bring in some of the players they brought in,
Yeah,
then they don't look a good side at
I
all.
get that, but what I mean is their fitness. I mean, they were out on their feet, and there was loads of them
Yeah.
going down. They were going down with cramp and all sorts. And you're thinking, should the Premier League in 2023, with the sports science available to them, there's no way. Well, after 8 games with no European football, so they've had all the time off during the week. How can they be struggling for fitness towards the end of a match? At this point, they should be reaching their peak fitness levels. You know what I mean? They should be match sharp, and there's no excuse for that because of injuries, because there just shouldn't be. The 11 you put on the pitch at any time should be fully match fit right now. I just don't understand how they could be struggling so much. I don't know where that's come from.
No.
I think questions need to be asked to the training and what's going on there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris, yeah.
Yeah, they did disappoint me a lot, I've got to say. Anyway, should we move on to the Sunday games? First game.
There was 2 o'clock
Not a lot.
kickoffs, or three,
Yeah,
lots.
not a lot to talk about in the first game, so we could just skim past that if you want.
Which one was that?
Two. That one. Brighton 2, Liverpool 2. Yeah, there was.
It was a good game to watch, though, wasn't it? For the neutral. It was quite a good game to watch.
I didn't fucking enjoy it. I'll tell you that much. I was really getting frustrated watching it. I thought we were awful. I really did. I mean, the setup, we didn't, until we had about 5 minutes before half time where we actually bothered to press them, and they folded, and we absolutely destroyed them. And yet, the second half, they come out, went back to the old crappy passing it around, boring me to tears football. It was so annoying and frustrating to watch. This is a Brighton team. They're not a good Brighton team. They're not at the same level as last season. The manager keeps rotating the goalkeepers and and half the team for every game, and it shows because they look so out of sorts and got under the slightest bit of pressure, and they're in real trouble. And yet somehow we managed to only draw against them. Didn't help, admittedly, that Gross somehow didn't get sent off. I don't understand that decision at all. When he's just pulled
that
him
was
down.
another contentious decision.
How is that? No, I understand it's a penalty, 100%. The referee's given a penalty, but how does he not see that as a red card? In fact, how does he not see it as a card at all? The only possible question should have been whether it was a yellow or a red, and the laws of the game state that that's a red because he's made no attempt to play the ball. He's just pulled him down. The only thing I can think of is that the referees decided that's not a goal scoring opportunity, which, if that's not a goal scoring opportunity when you're inside the box.
What is?
Yeah. The reason why he pulled him down was because he wanted to make sure he didn't score, because it was a goal scoring opportunity. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been pulling his shirt like that, would he? Let's be honest.
No.
I mean, if that's not a goal scoring opportunity, then I've no idea what is anymore. I really don't. I mean, that's if you were putting that as an XG, you might say it's not a goal. It's not definite goal. No, but it's still a goal scoring opportunity. It has to be. You're inside. It was virtually on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Would you say it was a fair result on balance?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I think
I thought it was a pretty fair result.
which
I still
says
can't understand them De Zerbi playing Solly March as fullback. Though I think he's a decent player, and I'd like
attacking
further up
player.
the field. I think he's far more effective than what he is at fullback. But
Yeah,
De
he's an
Zerbi does
attacking
his
player.
own thing, you know.
He's making
Yeah.
it's a bit like Liverpool at the moment. I think De Zerbi's holding them back rather than they're actually, their plays, the level they're at. I think their actual team is, how good it is better than they're actually getting to show. And I think De Zerbi's holding them back, and they're going to struggle. They're going to drop off this season because of it. And like I said when I wrote the match review, I said it reminds me of Roberto Martinez when he took over at Everton. From Moyes, where at first you thought, my God, this is so much. He's improved them. He's taken them forward, and they were playing better football. They were still defending well. They were still solid at the back and that, and so he just made them better. But then in his second season, the cracks appeared, and he just got worse. And he just gradually got worse and worse until he got the sack. And I think that I think that's what's going to happen with Brighton. I think De Zerbi will end up. He's going to just keep taking them backwards until they sort it. That's the thing, until they give him the push. I think he's got lucky. He took over a well-sorted side, and he hasn't had to do anything. He's just had to basically keep going, and now he's having to do something, and he's being shown up for not being actually that good.
No, I was disappointed with Ferguson, to be honest with you. I really like him as a player. I think he's going to be a cracking player. But he never had a good game against Liverpool. But you can have off days, Tom.
Sorry?
You can have off days. I think he might have an off day, because I really rate him.
Yeah,
but he never played well against Liverpool.
Did he get any service, though? That's how I look on it. He didn't.
I know what you're saying.
Brighton were poor, Liverpool were poor. I know people are saying what a great game it was, but I just couldn't see how it was. I mean, Liverpool were just passing around for the sake of it, and Brighton were doing the same, and it was two very poor sides. The only time, it got interesting was when either team pressed. I mean, Liverpool playing this stupid system, the inverted fullback. You only got to look at the goal. They get the goal with the, where the one where they conceded that was a mistake from McAllister, basically. One of the mistakes. Anyway, you've got this, the way it's having to set up, because the right back's moving up and inside. You've got the right-sided centre-backs drifting right out wide into the right-back area to create a passing option. Has to. But Van Dijk isn't coming over far enough across to create, to get close to him to make it, to give another passing option from there to there. You know what I mean? So you've then got a huge gap on the right side where the right-sided centre-back should be. So Alisson ends up coming up, because otherwise you've got no passing option. So he's coming out to fill it because nobody's offering, nobody in midfield's offering an option. So he's having to come back and fill in the gap. And of course, one bad pass, and it's a goal, because you're passing around at the back when your goalkeeper's not in goal. It's ridiculous.
It
was a bad pass.
That was a poor goal. That first goal was a very poor goal.
I mean, it's a bad pass by Van Dijk. And it was a terrible piece of work by McAllister to just stand watching while the players jumped in and stole it. Instead of going to the ball, he's waiting for it to come to him. I mean, it's a basic thing in football. It's one of the first things you're taught is don't wait for the ball to come to you. And he's done that. And it's, so the only thing you've got to say that's Alisson was out of position. I know people are saying he should have done better, got back, but I'm not being funny. But I don't expect the goalkeeper to get back on that one. You can't. I mean, even if he's come charging back in, the most he's likely to do is end up just punching it into the net. Unless he's, unless he's really lucky, it's not, it's not really a savable shot. Not from where he was.
No, it didn't look great because of his position. He'd been dragged wide because of the pass, and he was wide to go. So when it looked worse than probably it was, because his position wasn't great, which is you can't usually say about Anderson. His position is usually spot on, but because he'd been dragged wide with the pass, he didn't look great on it. But I'm not blaming him for the goal, of course.
No, he shouldn't have been. The system, the way it's set up, is not going to help. And goals like that are going to be conceded because of the result of playing this stupid inverted fullback system.
I know you're not a fan of it.
No, well, the first thing, you should never be doing it in your own half anyway. Don't invert your fullback.
Yeah.
Keep your passing options open until you get into the opposition half, because you've got to play safe when you're in your half. It's ridiculous to not, to take the amount of risks you're taking and have no actual centre half on the right side. There's nobody on that right-sided centre half role, so there's a massive gap there all the time. You can't do that. You just can't take those kind of risks and not expect to concede goals like that. It's going to happen. It's the way it is. It's stupidity. I don't understand why they keep doing it. Drives me up the wall. But I mean, to add to that, to then compound it by not pressing when the opposition have the ball, just standing off them. I mean, it's just like, it's just not a clock team anymore. You're not watching a clock team. It's not interesting to watch. It's not exciting. It's not attacking football. It's like watching Guardiola team, and I just don't like watching a Guardiola team. So I'm not enjoying this at the moment.
No, but saying that, Chess, you got off to a good start this season. I mean, you've been playing well, and
not really.
I think you've been okay. I think you've been pretty decent at Liverpool this year.
Only in the second.
I think you've been a bit overcritical of the team because they have been good to watch, and when you get it right, they're as good as any team in the league.
Yeah,
that includes Manchester City.
But that's the annoying thing. We are as good, and we should be beating all the. We should have won every game. That's the annoying thing. Is you look at them. Every team we've played have been beatable, and we've lost too many points, thrown away through our own ineptitude, and the points we've won have all had to be rescued, which shouldn't needed to happen. The only team we've actually gone out and outplayed has been West Ham, and that is only because they sat back and led us. And it's really frustrating.
Yeah,
I mean,
you've got to get rid of this habit of conceding the first goal, because it seems like every game you're playing, you're letting a goal, you're giving the team a goal start, and you can't get away with it all the time.
We can't keep playing McAllister as a defensive linchpin. I like McAllister, but he's just not working for him. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of his talent. I mean, not time to play him there.
Would you play Endo in there?
Yes, 100%.
Instead of Interest?
I don't understand why Klopp doesn't. He did the same with Minamino. It didn't matter. He'd come in, he'd play well, and then he'd be immediately thrown back. You wouldn't see him again for months. Endo's guy seems to be getting the same treatment. Klopp just doesn't seem to fancy him. I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, that it's more of a Fabinho Robertson situation where he's just holding him back until, and then he'll bring him in at the end, halfway through the season, and then he'll stick with him. Because otherwise, it's just a terrible decision he's making again. He's wasting the talent. Whereas he gave people like Keita, he just kept giving them chance after chance after chance, and they were shit every time. How many performances did Keita ever actually bother to turn up for? I can't remember him ever playing well in a single game. I know people will say, he played well in that game. No, he scored a goal that was a good goal, yeah, but the rest of the other 89 minutes, he was crap. You know what I mean? That's not a good performance. He'll give players like that, a chance, but Minamino and now it seems Endo's another one. I'm getting Carvalho last season. He played some decent stuff, but he never got an actual run of games. And I get that, like, he has to pick the team he thinks best, but when you when you're seeing there and he's picking Jota instead of Nunez or Hakpo, and you're thinking, how the hell does he make that decision? Then you've got to say he doesn't always get it right, and this McAllister thing in the deep lying role. That's another one he's got wrong.
Yeah, that's just not his position.
bringing Trent back.
And he doesn't look happy in it, does he?
No,
He doesn't look happy in that position.
He's not comfortable.
That's not his game.
No.
That's not his game.
No, it's really it's affecting him. He looks low in confidence. He's making
He
mistakes.
does, yeah. His body language looks bad as well, you know, as though he's not enjoying it. I thought he's always been the type of player for me who looks as though he's enjoying his football. He doesn't look to be enjoying what he's being asked to do at Liverpool. And I think that's got to change if he's going to be successful at the club.
Yeah, he's going to have to change something. Because this McAllister experiment's just not working.
No, he's not a defensive midfielder. It's not his game.
No, it's not even his none of his skill set surrounds defending. So I don't understand why he's been put there. The stats actually say the opposite, though. This is the scary thing. The stats actually say that he's decent. You know what I mean? And that's what scares me, is because that's what Linders looks at, and that's what he bases all his decisions on. And you know what I mean? He's going to look at that and say, yeah, but he's doing all right because he's making lots of tackles and stuff like that. It's like the same one, the same thing that people were using to say years ago when Garner Gay was first at Everton. They were using it to say he was better than Kante because he made more tackles. Well, no, because he was out of position more. That's why he was making more tackles. That doesn't make him better. There's a lot more to it than just the stats, and this is what people forget. And McAllister, statistically, he might look very good, but most of those things he's doing is because he's getting it wrong in the first place, and he's having to make up for it, trying to make up for it, and he's not always succeeding as he did in this game. It's a shame because it's a waste of a talent. He's a good player. He deserves better.
He is a good player, yeah. I thought he was going to be a great signer. I think he still could be if he's played in the right position, but it's not good, putting square pegs in round holes doesn't work.
This was the exact game to actually put him in the forward position because we had no Jones. I could understand the trying and experiment when Jones was playing so well. You couldn't drop Jones. You had to put Jones in. That makes perfect sense. But what he's doing now doesn't make any sense. Jones is suspended. Give him a try further forward and then see if he's got a couple of games to hold down, nail down the place. And then Jones will have to fight for a place again, after fighting for his place back. But instead he's stuck with him in a position it's clearly not working for him in. I don't understand.
Do you still think Lenders has got too much to say about the first team, Trish?
Well, yeah, he's too involved. He shouldn't. Like I said, he's too obsessed with. It's all statistically based on with him. He's not enough. He clearly doesn't understand enough of the game. He's already failed once as a manager in his own right because his tactics were abysmal. That should tell you something about him. If he can't, his tactics were appalling. Everyone, go and read any of the reports of the games, any of the what the fans were saying about his time. He's not good. He hasn't got a clue. So why he's there giving deciding on the he's the one that's put it forward, the inverted fullback. He's the one that's fought for it, and he's still putting putting himself on the line for it. Well, that's fine. Put yourself on the line for it, but I'm not going to listen because you haven't got a clue what you're talking about, mate. It's as simple as that. That's what Klopp should be saying. It's been noticeable that every time you're saying about how well Liverpool played, but all of the good performances have come when we've had to drop the inverted fullback system and reverse to a fullback. Yeah, every single time we've looked much better. So why not just do it from the fucking start of games? What's the issue?
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
I just don't understand it. It's starting to look like stupidity rather than anything else now. It's getting. I mean, this is Klopp's won done so much. Surely he should know better than this. What is wrong with him? Why is he? I just don't understand it. And I know he's always leaned heavily on his support staff. That's the kind of guy, he sees it as a team and he listens to them and he takes their advice and he, takes it in hand and thinks about it. And, he's always relied heavily on a right-hand man to do the tactics. It used to be, the guy who left, I can't remember his name, who fell out with him. And, but after he went, they were doing better. Liverpool were doing better, but they kept the same the same pressing and that. And now they've not just tweaked it a little bit, they've just removed what worked. They've removed what worked, thrown it away, and they've kept. They've just basically Buvak. That's it. Well done, thanks, Doris. Yeah, Buvak. Yeah, now they've gone away completely from the pressing game that made that Klopp built his career on, and now we're playing like Pep Guardiola team, and we're not a Pep Guardiola team. That's not our players. We haven't got the players for it. We've got players like Nunes, great players. Diaz, great player. But they're not a Guardiola type player. They're hard running, hard working, pressing, hustling. That's their game. That's what makes them stand out as players, because they'll chase lost causes and that, and they'll fight for everything. That's a Klopp type thing, and it works best if you press high and do that. Yeah, not what we're doing now. And it's not enjoyable to watch either. It might be enjoyable for a neutral who doesn't watch you a lot, but when you have to watch it every game, it's like watching Man City. I've no interest in watching them or Arsenal, to be honest. Yeah, I just find them very tedious to watch. And good luck to both of them that it works for them, but it's just not very interesting as a neutral for me. I just find passing for passing's sake boring. Anyway, should we move on to West Ham Newcastle 2-2 again?
Yeah. West Ham took the lead in that game. It wasn't a bad game, actually. I only watched I was watching the Liverpool game, which was on the same time, but I did watch the highlights of the game, and that looked a decent game as well. But I thought, to be honest with you, I thought that West Ham were possibly the best side in that game. I think they've got more about them than Newcastle. I'm not a Newcastle fan. I can't even say to you I enjoy watching them either. Too much playing and too much rolling around. But they got in front and couldn't hold on, because West Ham, I totally deserved to get the equaliser, possibly a bit more. But again, as I say about Moyes' sides, and I'm not just having a go because he got out of Everton, but they were 1-0 up and he sat back and invited Newcastle to come forward. Didn't press the ball, and that's a very Moyes thing. And then when they were 2-1 down, they started playing again and with a better side. And I can't understand Moyes thinking there. When you're on top, you try to stay on top. You try to get the next goal. He sat back again. He done it with Liverpool when you got 1-1. They were still in the game and then sat back, and Liverpool ended up beating them 3-1 easily. But he's done the same time and time again. It's a Moyes thing. It's a David Moyes thing. And it's not because I'm not a fan of Moyes, which I'm not. But West Ham are a decent side. They've got decent players. And they're going to be around their 5th or 6th mark. I think they're going to finish because they've got a good side. But they have to be more adventurous, and they have to be better equipped to be able to play when they're in the lead, which they don't at the moment. They sit back, and must be disappointing for the fans, because they've been one of the better teams this year that I've watched, and they've got some cracking players. Bowen's a cracking player, but I'm sure that the players don't want to take the foot off the gas when they're leading in a game, and that disappoints me about West Ham.
It's a shame, because you want to see them go for it. No, obviously it's on at the same time as Liverpool game, so I didn't get to watch it. But yeah, but you just know that, like with West Ham, you know what you're going to get under Moyes. He's never going to take the foot off the brake. He's always going to let them, fade out of games. I wonder if Seamus is joining us or not, because I see he's online. Maybe we'll get a royal visit tonight.
Oh, maybe.
Oh. Anyway, yeah. So it's just a shame, because I'd like to have seen what they could actually. I think they could have been celebrating the 3 points. They should have been there at home. That's one of those games they should see as a beatable team. Newcastle are beatable. They're not worst team in the league. Obviously, they're a very good side, but they're very beatable. And
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
I think West Ham at home should be looking to win that, and unfortunately under Moyes that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're right, Tris. I'll say I've been impressed with West Ham when I've seen them. When I've seen them go for a team, play some nice stuff, got some good players, but the tactics aren't great, and that disappoints me about West Ham. They could be right up there. I think they're going to still be up there, not top four, but certainly on the cusp of it.
Yeah,
They're good enough side to do that, but they've got to play with a bit more verve and go for things when they're in the lead. Go and score the second goal. Take the other team out, but they let the teams back in, and it's not a great look for David Moyes. By the way, it isn't.
But yeah, it's a shame.
Oh, we've got an alien on board, I think, Tris.
Hey, yep, here he is, the Luckender himself. Good evening, Seamus.
Good evening.
Oh,
hello, Seamus. How are you doing?
You just called me extraterrestrial, so I'm doing. I'm doing heavenly shit.
Oh, you missed the United game,
Yeah, I missed the United game, so there's no point.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had much to add to that because we covered it brilliantly.
No, I just want to say, like, we did tell you that McTominay is a decent player to have in the box.
Yeah. Been quite a week for the kind of things we've said as well, because I'd been saying just before the Everton game kicked off, I was talking to my auntie and I was saying to her about I fancy Everton get a good win here. I think this is the start, things are turning round for you. And then you went 3-0 and then I thought, shit, and we got to play them next time. It's like, oh god. So I'm hoping it's not the start. I was hoping I'm actually wrong about that in the end. But yeah.
Did you watch any football, Seamus?
I don't think so, actually. I don't recall.
You must know if you watched the game or not, mate.
Oh god.
I don't remember who played whom, so.
Oh my god.
It took me about 10 seconds to realize we were playing against, who was it? I just know we won 2-1. Brentford, yes.
That wasn't the tail of the tape, though, wasn't it? You were awful for 96 minutes of that game.
Yeah, but as they say, Billy, history is written by the winners.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point, Seamus.
That is you don't see much history being talked about when it comes to Everton, because
yeah. Well, nobody even knows where they are. As I just asked, welcome to Wrexham. Have you seen that yet, Seamus? According to the map they showed on there, Everton's in Anglesey. You won't know where Anglesey is.
You won't know where Anglesey is, no.
Anyway, it's like the furthest tip in Wales.
No, I've only in this week just gone by, I just learned one thing, and that is Birkenhead is shit.
Oh yeah, it's shit. It really is shit.
It's a really bad place.
Yeah, it's the wrong side of the water. Isn't that right, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go that side of the Mersey. It's definitely the wrong side.
The only thing that's booming in Birkenhead is tattoo parlours. Nothing else. That's it. Tattoo parlours. That's it.
Yeah, it's not posh like Bootle.
Oh,
God. Right, so we'll move on to the next game anyway because we've done West Ham. Newcastle on Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Aston Villa. 1-1 draw and a sort of derby. I'm not sure if it is a real derby, this one. Kind of, but like obviously for Villa it's more Birmingham, for Wolves it's more West Brom. So I'm not sure whether this one really has that kind of strong feeling.
They're still in the Midlands, I suppose. It's also a derby.
Same city, pretty much. Wolves is basically on the edge of Birmingham, isn't it? Wolverhampton. I've been there a few times. It's not particularly nice part, but then knows the where's Aston Villa? Not exactly a nice part of Birmingham either, really. So yeah, it's one of those games where you know both teams.
They had hard luck there at the
I'm
end.
worried. I'm really worried after this past few results from Wolves. I had them down for rock bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Because they were in tatters when I made the prediction. The manager had just walked out. They had no money to bring players in.
He's had his school in a Liverpool FC, mate. They're not going to struggle. They're going to surprise a few. Great manager in the making after that schooling, I tell you.
Yeah, let's bring him to replace Klopp. He's the next Klopp.
Let's not go that far. But the way things are going, it might. Well, if he carries on with this inverted fullback thing, it might end up here. We might need to replace him at this rate. I hope not, though. We're still getting the results.
No, with the way things are going, he actually might end up at the other red team.
Oh. Germany don't play him red, do they?
No, actually, mine's kind of sort of do, but you know who I mean.
I can't imagine that one, though, mate.
Never in his life.
Never. No. No, it's not going to happen. I think he only goes to teams where the fans sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." I think that's been the way he's chosen his teams. Because mine's Dortmund and Liverpool. It'll be Celtic next. Maybe he can replace it. Maybe he could take over from Brendan Rodgers there and turn him into a decent side.
I don't think he's going anywhere that low.
No, I was saying like maybe Gary O'Neill can replace Ten Hag.
Oh yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah. Do you think it's really getting that bad that he's likely to be on his way?
No, I wouldn't sack him, but it's never a good look when the reports start coming out that the players don't completely believe in the managers, that they don't agree with him and all that. Regardless of what you and I think, the actual victors are always the players, which shouldn't be, but it is.
I think big things were expected of United this year after last year. Getting up to third, playing good football, Ten Hag looked happy, the squad looked good. And I must admit I was expecting United to be not winning the EPL, but certainly right up there in the top four. And at the moment, they don't look like a team that's going to do that. I think they look a poor outfit. I think Ten Hag has lost his mojo to a certain degree, and you can see the United supporters getting a bit restless. They're expecting better. It looked as though you turned the corner. He was going to be the man. Ten Hag, I think he's a decent coach, but it hasn't happened for him this year up to now. Let's hope for United's sake that win, which was a very lucky win on Saturday, might turn the tide for him, because I like him as a person, I like him as a manager, but I think you need a bit more than that.
Do we have to hope that, or can you just leave me out of that bit?
I'm speaking for United supporters here, Tris.
Right, okay, yeah, no, well, I'll go with that. Yeah, United supporters could do that, but please don't expect me to want him to.
It's healthy for football to have a good United side, believe me.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite enjoyed, the the years when they were shy. I quite enjoyed the 80s. I seem to remember them being quite good. No,
I
I
remember them getting relegated.
yeah, it was the year I was born. That's why it's such a good year. See, that's probably why my mum got pregnant. She was celebrating a bit hard. Yeah, so we were watching the Wolves Villa. We haven't heard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Lot of
Wolves were
in that
lucky in the end, you know. Did you see the chance to? It was the centre forward for Villa, Watkins.
Yeah.
Great header at the post, could have won it in the last few minutes. And I thought Villa, I'll say, only from the highlights, Villa looked decent. Look, in the end, probably a fair result, what I seen of the game. But I thought Villa slightly had the better chances. And maybe should have won it in the last few minutes. They had two really good chances. And there was a penalty on Watkins that wasn't given. How it wasn't given, I don't know. The defender come over and just pushed him right over into the crowd when he had the shooting chance, and he missed it. And no one could believe how it wasn't given as a penalty. It was just a blatant shove on him. But we all know what the refereeing situation is like in the Premier League at the moment. But that was another bad decision. Another very bad decision. So I think Villa could feel a little bit aggrieved in not winning that. But that's football, and that's... Go on, Tris.
I was going to say, both sets of fans, having read both the Villa and the Wolves site, both sets of fans feel aggrieved by the decisions being given, and both felt. So I think that and the way they both thought, I think obviously, but on balance, it seems like the result was a fair one, but there could have been anything from two men left a field, according to the way they were talking about it.
There was some very strange decisions.
Yeah,
I must admit it.
Not the strangest, I've got to say. I think when we get to the next game, I've got to say there's a decision there that was extremely strange. I think you know which one we mean. In fact, can we just move on to the next one now? There's not really,
Yes, absolutely. Come on, mate.
Arsenal, Man City. Obviously, Arsenal won, thankfully, because that opens up the season for everyone. That does that result. Let's be honest, it makes it a much more exciting season having Man City finally lose and dropping out, and dropping some points. It makes a huge difference. It gives everyone hope, and maybe some more teams. Now that they've been beaten a couple of times, maybe some more teams will actually make a go at them rather than just sit back and defend. But you've got to say the decision not to send off Kovacevic twice.
It
was twice. It wasn't once. It was twice. He could have been sent. He should have been sent off for both times. And to not even get 2 bookings from it is just astonishing. I have to say, both.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous decision not to send Kovacic off. And I've been saying this about Man City. I don't think they're a great side this year. I think they've lost. Don't get me wrong. They've lost De Bruyne, they lost Rodri, who were 2 of the best players in the Premiership. Let's be honest about it. They're fantastic players, and any side would miss De Bruyne and Rodri. But the other players are not in the meg specs of the sides they've had over the last couple of years. When you had players like Aguero, like Gundogan, they're missing Gundogan big time. Mahrez to a certain extent. They're not a good a side as what they have been. And when they haven't got all the players fit, I'm talking about. And I thought Arsenal was a better side anyway. I thought it was a pretty poor game, to be honest with you. I thought the quality was pretty poor. And I've said that to the Arsenal fans. I thought it was one of the worst games I've watched, actually, for quality-wise. But I think it's helped the season. I think I give Arsenal a bit of belief. I thought Man City were beatable, and it proved it. They did get beat, albeit by an own goal. Nathan Ake, very unfortunate. But before, it wasn't a great watch. There was not much excitement in the game. I thought Arsenal were holding back a bit. Thought they could have played Martinelli from the start for me. If he was on the bench, why wasn't he playing? And, I was disappointed that the game wasn't better. If there are two top sides going on last year's records, I thought it was a poor advert for football in the EPL, to be honest with you.
What do you think, Seamus?
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
You must be a busy man, James.
I surely am a lazy man.
Oh, okay.
The word you were looking for is definitely lazy. It's all those women he's got to keep on the go now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
When you got a house like
If only.
Big house.
you
Only.
attract them, the gold figures, and you gotta keep them happy,
And the modelling things, all comes into it.
Yeah, it's a busy life when you're Seamus Lakenda. Sorry, the Lakenda. He's definitely the Lakenda, yeah.
What did you think of the game, Tris? What did you think of the Arsenal game?
Honestly, can I be perfectly 100% honest? I only watched highlights. Wasn't interested in watching the game, I've got to be honest. I don't find Arsenal or Man City interesting to watch at all. That's why I was...
No, you did say that before.
I just don't find them... They just bore me. They just pass around for the sake of it. It's too much peeing about at the back. And unfortunately, Liverpool are going that way as well now. And it's... Burnley do the same thing as well. And it's just tedious. I don't want to watch a team rolling the ball around the 6-yard box. I mean, this get the defender to take a goal kick and then roll it 2 yards to a goalkeeper, who'll then roll it 6 yards across to another defender, and it's not actually even moved forward yet. They're making 12 passes before they actually move forward. I mean, that's just not interesting. It's tedious. This is not good football, and it's not how it should be played. It's meant to be.
That wasn't a good watch. I must admit, that was not a good watch. I said the same to the Arsenal fans on the forum. That was not a good game. It was one of the worst games I watched. The only reason I watched it, actually, was that I went out to watch the Liverpool game, which I thought was a decent game to watch as a neutral, and I stayed out and watched for the Man City Arsenal game, and it was so poor. The quality was poor. It wasn't the type of game that you'd really expect from the two top teams, as I said before, in the country. And no, it wasn't a good watch. It was pretty poor fare, if I'm honestly.
Is this right? Newcastle summer signing Sandro Tonali and Aston Villa loanee Nicolo Zaniolo accused of match betting. Zaniolo is said to have bet against his team. Somebody just sent me the pics. Docs just sent me a thing saying this, but I haven't seen it because obviously I've been preparing for this and that, trying to get this working because I haven't seen or heard anything of that.
I haven't heard the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's the first I've heard of it, but I don't know whether it's true or not, but that's certainly it's hardly a surprise if it is out because footballers do bet a lot, but betting against your own team, I mean, that's going a bit far, isn't it?
Yeah, that's out of order, yeah.
I mean,
well, listen, chaps, I'm sorry, but I'm getting picked up in 25 minutes, less than 25 minutes. So, thanks very much for today, and enjoy your international break. Some great games, it looks like. So, and I shall see you next Thursday. Thanks, Tris. Thanks, Seamus.
Thank you.
See you next week. Ta-ra, boys. Ta-ra, everyone.
See you next Thursday, buddy. Take care.
Okay. Ta-ra, mate.
So before we go any further, I think I need to ask your opinion on the Wayne Rooney situation.
What
Seamus
situation? He just
taking the job at Birmingham. Do you think it's a
yeah,
good
he's just
decision?
taking the job of Birmingham.
Well, obviously, like you
How
know,
how are they doing financially? Because last I checked, they were not that great.
well, they've been bought out by new owners, new American owners, hence the
Selby
bringing it.
Holdings.
Yes, the ones that yeah, they've called themselves after the Peaky Blinders thing, haven't they? Shelby's. I'm assuming you realised that.
Yes, yes. I think you might have told me that actually.
Oh, I probably did actually thinking about it. I probably mentioned it. Yeah, it's got very, but yeah, they brought in Rooney to raise the profile in the States, though, which would be a bit of a surprise because I wouldn't have thought like yeah, you wouldn't have thought he'd have a good reputation from me in the States, considering how shit he did as a job with DC United. I mean, they haven't even gotten the playoffs under him, have they? So seems a very strange decision. It just reminds me of when they the last time they had an ownership change. Well, might not be the last time. It could be 3 or 4 ownership changes ago with the way Birmingham swap hands these days. Yeah, they had Gary Rowett and he was doing well. Got them on the fringes of the playoff place, battling for playoff places, and then they sacked him off and brought in Gianfranco Zola. Next thing, they're battling relegation because he doesn't win a game, and I got a feeling that this is going to be a similar situation. Yeah, I would say similar as in like great player, shit manager, but I don't think I can accuse Rooney of being in the same league as Gianfranco Zola. That's a bit unfair on Zola in that respect, isn't it? He was a great player. You're not going to argue on that one, then. Oh, I thought you might have argued the point on that one, Seamus.
On what run?
On Rooney not being a great player like Gianfranco Zola. I thought you might have
I
told me he was a
I
great
think I
player.
think I think the Rooney debate has been done to the ground
Yeah,
and then back again and again for about what at
oh,
least 5 years on the pages.
and some, I think,
Think
yeah.
it's I think there's nothing new anyone can say.
Yeah, it's true. Fair point. No, I'll give you that one. So, yeah, you heard any other news while is there anything else you'd like to discuss from the week?
Did you guys cover all the matches?
We've just done the matches. That's it. We've literally just done the match. We haven't done anything else because Billy had to rush off, obviously, for his golf tour. So he's touring Blackpool, which it doesn't seem much of a tour, really. More like just popping down the road. Oh.
I don't know much about the geography there, so I
It,
don't know how
it's
much I
like
can comment.
it's just literally down there. It's like 30 miles or so away, if that. I don't even know if it's that, like where he's going, Bolton. I don't. Cause I think it might be even closer that bit where he's going. But yeah, it's not. It's not far. Trust me. It's just literally just along the coast. Um, you pop out there for the day trip all the time, basically. Um, I don't know anything else you can discuss. Do you think out your injuries,
Mm,
the injury situation at United? Do you have any thoughts on that? It's not really been anything to talk about in terms of football, really, has there? Not been a lot really happened. I mean, Liverpool, the Anfield Road stand delays. Well, that was a bit obvious, wasn't it? That was always going to happen. I mean, how could it not happen when when the contractor goes bust? Bit of a surprise one, is it? Uh, you don't really know there's not really been anything interesting happened other than, the match, is there? I noticed,
There's, There's not been a lot. There's not been a lot of news.
No, I was just trying to think of anything. There is, do you want it? Yeah, Tom Brady. That's it. It was one of the owners. I was just trying to think who the owners of Birmingham was. The Shelby Corporation thing. Yeah, because one of them's that Tom Brady. I mean, there really hasn't been much to talk about, has there? It's been a very poor in terms of oh god, stuff to talk about. I mean, even the Euro
How
2028 thing wasn't very
how
exciting.
was your yeah? How was your match? Brighton Liverpool.
We done, yeah, it was, yeah, we should have won that. I was really disappointed, to be honest.
How the hell did you guys concede that goal? The first one.
Uh, well, like I was saying, it's the system playing. You've got the fullback's not there. He's moving in front, even when you're deep in your own half. I don't think you should be. You should never, you don't invert the fullback in your own half. You should wait until you get into the opposition half. Because what you've done is you then opened up a space on the right. Matty constantly moves right out on the right, really far out on the right. So you've then got a massive space next to him. Van Dijk doesn't shift over. So that space is just empty, and it makes it very difficult to pass around at the back. So what happens is Allison's being coached obviously to come out and fill that space, and use it. So you've got basically making an extra man on the pitch. Is the thinking. Understandable, I get it, but it's dangerous, and it's always going to come at the cost of goals like that. And if you're not scoring, if you're going to concede another simple goal as well later on, you're not gonna pick up a win, are you? You can't. You're taking too many chances. I mean, we're already playing with a more attack-minded midfielder as a defensive midfielder. You've got, it's just a disaster waiting to happen, and it's lucky with such a good side that we were able to get away with it. I mean, Mo Salah's just sensational at the moment. So I didn't see that. Torres is saying that Maguire is saying he needs to be playing more than once a month. Well, I think we all know that Maguire needs to be playing more than once a month, and he had the opportunity to go to West Ham, but he turned it down because he wouldn't pay the money he wanted. He probably said, "Do you think he said to them, 'Do you know who I am?' when they offered him the money, as if to say, 'Oh, that's not enough.'" Maybe he tried to
Oh,
bribe them. Maybe
probably.
he tried to bribe Moyes, or does he just do that with policemen? Do you think? In case you're not, anybody's listening, thinking, "What the fucking hell is he going on about?" When he was in Greece and he got arrested for fighting. He said to the policeman, "Do you know who I am?" and then tried to bribe him when the policeman didn't have a fucking clue who he was. So he tried to give him money instead, and that's when he got they locked him up for that. I wonder when does that court case come up?
I don't know if it will actually ever come up.
It's strange because it's been years now. You think it'd have come up to court by now? I mean, it's surely there can't be much you can do, like in terms of gathering evidence. It's either it's the coppers that were there, word against his, basically, isn't it? It's all it can be. You can't really get much evidence more than that, can you? Um, so what do you reckon on the Everton next soon? 12 days to their 12 days here. Obviously, it's the 13th here. It's the 12th. Where it might be the 12th. It's 12th in England, I should say. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah. So in a few days, less than 2 weeks anyway, the Everton hearing's supposed to be held, isn't it? That'll be interesting. That's something to look forward to. We've got the Man City must be coming up soon as well, surely. If the Everton one's done, surely Man City must be soon. I don't know. Has anybody heard anything on that? Because I've not heard of anything on terms of that coming up.
Man City's cases don't get much traction. I don't know why it should, but it just doesn't.
No, they don't really get talked about, do they? Which is a really bizarre one. Because you think it'd be huge, wouldn't you? But then, yeah, they seem to get away with everything though, don't they? Um, oh, I was just trying to have a look, see if there was anything interesting in the FA charges, but they've not even posted anything for this month, so nothing. FA, let's use this. There's not really a lot happening. Yeah, pay off the Genos, to be honest, they probably won't, but that's true. Yeah, unless you're
Oh,
Newcastle, you
Eden
don't need to
Hazard
pay off the
retired.
Genos. Hmm?
Eden Hazard retired.
Ah, yes, I knew there was something we hadn't covered. Yeah, Eden has his retirement. Where do you rate him in terms of the what the fuck? TV's just switched itself on. Ah, stupid thing. Earlier, I was watching a program, and they said on there, I can't remember what they said, but they said something, and it changed the channel. Literally just changed its own channel because they said something about watching something else. I want, I wanted to watch something, and they were talking about a Korean TV drama thing, and it changed over to it. Like it suddenly started showing this Korean TV drama. I'm like, how the hell? And when I went back to it, I was watching something on Netflix, and it was what they actually said they wanted to watch on the program. It's like, whoa, that's quite scary. I mean, really got to figure out how to switch it off. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Eden Hazard. So where do you rate him in terms of the best players in Premier League history?
I think it's unfair to talk about him in the list of best players because like the top all time great players because he did it for a lot less seasons and he also had one or two very mediocre or even worse seasons.
Hmm.
But
Any?
from my point of view, with my a lot less years watching Premier League football, he was when he was on form and on fire, he was one of the best players in the league without a shadow of a doubt when he was playing.
He was also one of the problems there. One of the reasons why they had to keep changing managers and that. He had real, he had eating problems. His weight fluctuated. He was lazy. He used to try. He was as much of a problem as he was a help. And I also think, that you say he had great season, but even for them seasons where he was really good, he'd have half a season. He'd have like 6 months, not 6 months less, because obviously the season doesn't run for 12 months. You know what I mean? He'd have half the
No,
season. He just
he
wouldn't
was
bother turning
capable.
up.
He was capable of. He
Yeah.
was capable of and off one or two games or more, even in his good seasons. But overall, he was a very good player for Chelsea.
I was going to say he had the ability to be absolutely magnificent, but he had far too many bad games for my liking. He would go half a season, he'd just not bother trying. He'd just turn up for the games, the big games. Wouldn't bother for the rest, or when he felt like it, he'd just throw it, throw the towel in and not bother playing. I thought for long periods of time, and I wouldn't put him even in the top left wingers because of that. Much as ability wise, he'd be right up there near the top as one of the best
Now,
ever in the
the
Premier
question,
League.
the question that always gets brought up is Prime Hazard versus Prime whoever. The issue is
Mm,
Prime Hazard for one particular game is different than Hazard in his
yeah,
prime.
yeah,
Like if you know like you're getting the Hazard to play his best game ever, then he's probably the best player. But if not, then there are many players you'd rather have because at least they're gonna make the effort.
yeah, yeah. Because when he didn't want to bother, he just didn't bother. He could be very lazy, and especially after he went to Madrid, he was just and he had injury problems and that as well. And that, well, I mean,
Yeah,
I've got to be honest.
but the question is, did his injury problems cause other issues, or did his other issues cause the injuries to begin with?
He was say his overeating was a problem. He did have problems. He'd eat too much and he ate the wrong foods, which caused a lot of his injury problems because he wasn't fit enough because he didn't push himself hard enough either. Again, because he was a bit lazy and that. Like, which is a shame because it meant we had those long periods where he wasn't playing well. See, personally, I mean, I mean, just on left wingers off the top of my head, Mane, I'd take him every day over Hazard, even at peak Hazard against the peak Mane. Take Mane, thank you, every time, because at least he's going to outwork Hazard, and he'll track back and he'll do more for the team. He was a much better team player at his best. But who else can you think of? Left
But
wingers.
if we're going long, like
This
a
in the
while
Premier
back,
League
and
I'm talking about.
yeah, if we're going a bit further back than my time and taking longevity as one of the criteria, then Giggs should be in there with a shout.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Henry wasn't really a left winger.
And even when he did, he wasn't
Otherwise,
a
he would
good
be an
left
easy
winger
one.
either.
I actually think Son Heung-min deserves a shout
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I'd take Son over him as well. Yeah, that's a good choice.
And I think not many.
I think we've named 3 that would be better than him, but I think we'd struggle to find many more.
Because Cristiano wasn't really a left winger when he was in his pop at United.
Yeah, and to be honest, he
And
never really peaked at
and you
United, did he?
cannot even. Sorry.
Well, he didn't peak at United, did he? He left before he went, and then became found.
Yeah,
When he
but
levels above.
when he won the Ballon d'Or at United,
Mm.
he was a right winger or a right
Yeah,
or more of a right-sided attacker.
yeah. I'll give you that as well. Yeah, so
And the guys who played left side for us during that period weren't really wingers. So I can't think of many great teams that had great left wingers.
Right, the Premier League actually hasn't had that many great left wingers. It must be said, to be honest. I mean, Diaz is one of the better ones, and he's barely started his career, and he's already shot because there hasn't been as many, not many at all, really great ones. I mean, players like Zaha, people rave about, but I think they're very average. I know you wouldn't.
There are the likes of Robert Pires, who I just
Oh
know
yes,
nothing much about.
Pires Overmars, but he didn't play for long enough. That's the problem. Overmars, I would have said 100%, but didn't stay for long enough. Really, it's a shame because he was a fabulous player, and Arsene Wenger altered all his setup to get him, make sure got the best out of him, and he was brilliant for them. Pires was fantastic as well. Yeah, that's 2 good choices. Pires certainly played. How many years? He must have played a good 5, 6, 7 years, mustn't he?
Probably, but
I think I'd have him over.
he was before my time, so
Oh, he was a great player. You'd have loved watching him. He was so silky on the ball. Really great to watch. Whereas Overmars was
Grealish.
just power and pace.
What about the football encyclopedia himself, Grealish, 100 million guy?
Fucking hell. I wouldn't even. I've seen people trying to compare them, and I just think that's just a bit unfair on Grealish because he's just not even in the same league, is he? Let's be honest, it's not. I mean, he's just no. It's not even close, is he? It's a bit like comparing, you with me on the editing front. There's not really a fair comparison, is it? Different levels to this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
and
not sure
the
which
newer
way round.
fancier.
I'm not sure which way round that is with us two, mind.
Yeah, I am the newer fancier, the better version, but
Yeah,
you're just too
maybe.
old to
Yeah.
change now, so set in your ways.
I'm just a grumpy old man, eh? Yeah. Is that what you're trying to say? Sound like my missus now.
but it is kind of sad how his career has completely taken a nosedive after getting what was supposed to be his dream move.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't understand how Chelsea fans loved him so much when he was constantly talking about how he just wanted to play for Real Madrid. I just thought that was so disrespectful. I mean, I'm not a Chelsea fan by any means, but when your player's doing that, surely you've got surely that's got to turn you against him just a little bit, hasn't it? Put your back up, you know? Or maybe it's just me.
But then he goes to Real Madrid and doesn't want to actually fulfill his dream.
Yeah, well,
Surely
he was too busy
his
at
dream wasn't.
McDonald's.
But surely his dream wasn't to be a Real Madrid player, but to actually play for Real Madrid.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But it's just like he's thought, I've got it now, and that's it, and didn't bother. I mean, he literally, he would turn up at training. This is well known. He'd turn up at training with burgers. He'd go to McDonald's on the way to training. This isn't like me making, this is one of the things that he did. This is what I'm saying about his lifestyle was a big problem, and I just don't understand how Chelsea let him get like that, to be honest. At the time at the time under Jose and that, surely you'd think. I suppose would Jose have had much of a say in this? I'm trying to think what time period it would have been.
Oh, he joined after Chelsea won the Champions League.
Yeah,
It was under Roberto Di Matteo.
yeah, that's what I was
And
wondering.
then
It would have been the second spell
Di
of Jose
Matteo,
Mourinho,
yeah,
wouldn't it? Yeah.
yeah, Di Matteo only lasted about 3 months after that, I would say,
Mm,
give or take.
yeah, it was his
And
second
I think
spell, wasn't
who
it? Then.
who took who took over after Di Matteo? I'm not quite sure.
Oh God, I can't
Was it
remember now.
Benitez? Was it Benitez or not? Because I'm sure there was a sort of man as the
Mm.
interim one.
Well, when Kurt Benitez was there, I'm sure he'd have tried to stop him going to McDonald's because he was very keen on, people living professionally. But players tend not to listen to Benitez
Chelsea
because they think
won.
they know better
Okay,
because he never played.
Chelsea won the Champions League and then they went on to win the Europa League next season. So I think there is a chance it might have been Benitez.
Mm. Could have been, yeah. That sounds
Okay,
about.
then
It does
Benitez.
sound
After
right.
Benitez, yeah, after Benitez, it was Mourinho. Then could it be?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he played under him.
Mourinho? Yeah. He
Yeah,
played under Mourinho. He
that's what
won
I
the
was
Premier
saying.
League under Mourinho.
Yeah, I thought
Then
he
next
did.
season, in the very first game against Swansea, there was this whole Eva Carniero thing because Hazard went down on the ground. The medical team, Eva Carniero.
That's right. It was. That's what I was. I knew there was something, that involved Hazard and Mourinho because they fell out a
Yeah,
little bit.
there was. And then, like apparently, allegedly, Hazard was very close with the medical
Yeah.
team,
Well, it was because it
which
wasn't
which
just him.
subsequently was booted out.
Mm. But it wasn't just Hazard, and I think this was part of the problem. Is Jose Mourinho didn't like the fact that a lot of the players talked to her. They'd moan to her about him, and I think he didn't like. He felt that that's them talking behind his back. I think that was the issue he had with her, and he was looking to get rid of her rather than he was upset with what happened at that time. I think he'd been looking for an excuse to get rid of her. You know what I mean?
But I remember that game against Swansea. They were poor.
Mm,
Chelsea were so bad in that game.
yeah, they were. It was, that's not her fault, though, is it? She's not the manager.
He probably spent more than 2 seasons under Mourinho.
Yeah, I
It has
thought
a
he did.
because Mourinho took over. Then I remember that little horse press conference when Chelsea were like they were third, they'd beaten one of the t- top two teams, maybe City or Arsenal. And then Mourinho said, no winner in this race this season with just a little horse. And then they went out, brought in Costa, Fabregas, Andre Schürrle. Fabregas had an amazing start to the season. Costa was on fire. They won the league, and then everything fell apart.
Mm. Yeah, you just got to say though, it's a shame that Hazard allowed himself to lose his way like that. Yeah, I mean, when you've got the talent he's got, it's such a disappointment to end up not making a most of it and ending up retiring at 32. And he didn't really want to bother. This is the thing. It wasn't because he didn't have offers and that on the table. He just couldn't be bothered. He really just didn't seem interested in football most of his career, to be honest. For large portions of it, you watch him on the pitch and you think it's just like, unless somebody kicks him, he didn't seem like he was actually bothered. You know what I mean? He'd just be, and then somebody would give him a kick, and then he'd suddenly turn it on, just like as if to say, "Oh fuck you," you know what I mean? But otherwise, if nobody bothered to foul him, he just didn't seem like he just seemed to stroll around most games. And I think that's a real shame when you've got a player of that quality. That is a shame, but like, only himself to blame. It's got to be said. Can't blame anybody else when you don't try, can you? Well, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you do. You probably blame it on anything, the boogie or Harry Maguire or
Maybe the grass was too dry, maybe the surface was too wet, maybe the wind was blowing, the wind was not
yeah,
blowing.
it can be
Maybe it's the
difficult.
fault of the sun, maybe it's the fault
Okay.
of the sun for not coming out.
It's amazing how football managers in general always got an excuse. You know,
Is is there is there any excuse Klopp hasn't made actually?
I think you could go to any manager. I mean, the one I like is Ten Hag now. He tends to say it's the team's fault and then blames players. You know, it's everyone's fault, but you know he seems to be throwing the players under the bus, and I think that's where you've got an issue. He's going to lose them if he's not careful. And I know you want to get rid of him, but you know you've got to keep them
But it's
until you can
easier
get
to
rid
get
of
rid
them.
of one manager. It's
Yeah,
easier to
exactly,
get rid of one manager than to get rid of 10 players or more.
exactly. And that's where your problem comes in. Even if the players are at fault, which I think in a lot of cases he's probably right to blame the players, but you can't say that. And that's the difference with Klopp. Klopp will never put the blame on the players. If you notice, when those kind of things, it's the grass is too long, it's too dry, it's too wet, it's too windy, or he'll even say he got the tactics wrong or whatever. He'll say anything, but it's never the players' fault. Never ever the players' fault. And that's the difference. That's why his players run through brick walls for him. Even when even when the team's not doing well, you only got to look at some of the performances. Even when we've been poor, like Brighton, they're still the players are still going hell for giving their everything in the last minute. If only the tactics were right, be all right. Yeah, he did want to call out Benteke, but that's different because he wasn't trying. He was lazy. It wasn't because he was crap. It was because he just stood around. I've never seen. I tell you what, I've got to say, we were talking about Hazard as the best. Who's the worst players you can think of? I mean, I've got to say Benteke. How the hell did Liverpool ever think that he was a good signing? I've never known a striker who didn't actually want to try and get in the box before, but he would literally just stand on the edge of outside the box, just outside the box all the time. When the player's running down the wing, ready to cross it in, and where's he? Still stood outside the box, not even making an attempt to get in there. And you're thinking, what's what's that all about? Surely the first thing you should be doing is getting in the box, But he never even tried half the time. In fact, more than half the
Yeah,
time.
but he scored a brilliant goal against Manchester United in the game where Martial made his debut.
Oh, like, you know, that's one of those things that he lives off. Marshall is his debut there, and he was playing against Skirtle, who's one of the worst defenders we've ever had, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people love him, but it's just because he looked hard rather than because he actually was hard. He was crap. I mean, he just ran back. Like, literally just kept running away from Marshall. I mean, that's not great play by Marshall. That's just terrible defending. But yeah, you know, yeah, that's not Marshall's fault at the end of the day. But it has become a problem because fans think that that's down to him being great, and you know, and he's managed to keep his career on a goal that like really wasn't that good. If you see what I mean. You know what I'm saying, though, don't you?
I'm just trying to think of a player worse than Benteke.
Andy Carroll comes close, but I think Benteke beats him.
Are we talking about players who just played in the Premier League or who played for good,
Let's talk
like
general.
the bigger teams?
Yeah, just any big big name players that just turned out to be awful when they got a chance. You know, when they got a chance at big clubs. I mean, not big name players, big clubs. You know what I mean?
Konchesky,
Oh
Paul
God!
Konchesky.
Oh,
He
don't.
was once the starting left back for Liverpool.
And
Take me
England,
back to those days.
and England. I mean, astonishing. How bad must England have been then if Konchesky was the starting left back?
No, no way, no way. Ashley Cole was still around for sure.
It's only I'm exaggerating. Starting, he was the backup to Cole, but he was regularly in the team. Oh, Mope's a good shout. And Paulson, David No Goal, sorry, Ngo, Joe Cole. Oh fuck
Yaya
no, yeah, he was
Sanogo.
awful for Liverpool.
Yaya
Yeah,
Sanogo for
Snogo.
Arsenal.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Marwan Shamak was quite poor.
obviously none of these are going to come close to Ali Dyer though at Southampton. Must be said. George Weah's cousin. Remember that one? You must have heard that story.
Not George Weah's cousin, but yeah,
Well, he said he was
someone
George
got
Weah's
scammed.
cousin. Yeah, he said he was George Weah's cousin. That's what they told. Somebody phoned up Souness and told him it was George Weah's cousin. So he said, "Oh, I'll take him on then." Yeah, it turned out I don't think he'd ever kicked the ball, and he managed to make a career. Career. There was a player in Brazil that managed to make a long career out of being terrible as well, playing for the top clubs. Yeah, Balotelli, great shout. Yes,
No, Balotelli was good. He was more like Hazard.
that's true. He's just
If he
lazy.
wanted to be, yeah, if he
Yeah.
wanted to, then he could. Like,
Oh, some of the things. I mean, like turning up at a woman's prison to do a tour out of the blue. Why? Because he wanted to look inside it and see what it was like. I'm what?
uh,
He was a fucking nut job, but he
some
dressed.
of the Balotelli stories, if they were shown in a movie, you would think they're
Yeah, they're
just doing it for
bullshit.
effect.
Yeah, but he was just fucking
Yeah.
mental. Well, he was driving around with a suitcase full of cash on the thing, and he'd just hand out money. And he dressed up as Santa Claus, and he'd go and stand in at the Trafford shopping centre and just hand out money. Seriously, he'd just hand out £50 notes to people. All the time, he'd just do things like that. And I remember when the police pulled him over and said, "Why have you got all the?" Because obviously they didn't recognise him at first. "Why have you got all that cash in your car?" Like, and he
Because I
said,
can.
"Yeah,
His
because you
answer
can."
was because I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Yeah. We,
That's a good answer actually. Why?
yeah,
Because I can.
yeah. Why not? Like, why? It was a strange question. I mean, you can just imagine his puzzlement as he's thinking, well, why wouldn't I? I mean, well, I've got enough money I can afford to. It's when his mother sent him to buy the essentials when he first moved to Manchester. Did you hear that story? What he came back with?
What did he come back with?
Well, it started with a trampoline, a Scalextrics, and basically just go from there. Anything of those sort of ilk you can think of, that's what he bought as the essentials when he moved into his house in Manchester. He's fucking mental, absolutely crazy.
No, whenever anyone brings up Balotelli, I just remember Mourinho talking about it. It's like when I was his manager, I used to pull my hair out. It was so
Yeah.
frustrating, but when I look back, those are some of the most memorable things as manager. It's the same, like setting fire-ups in his
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah, he set fire to it. Yeah, that was at Man City.
Yeah, that was it, Man City. Why always me?
But he set fireworks off in his bathroom, but he didn't even get indoor fireworks. He just set off fireworks and then wondered why he set fire to the place. I mean, oh god. Hey, somebody's just put up the Europa Tourist has just put up the Europa League lineup under Hodgson for Liverpool. It's like Reina in goal. Glenn Johnson, he was truly awful. Georgiakos, oh
Now
my
he
god,
was
he was
Glenn Johnson.
dreadful.
Glenn Johnson gets a start because he was actually the first choice English right back.
He was hopeless. He was so late. He
But
spent this entire time just doing his hair, constantly pulling his hair behind his ear. That was all he was doing.
yeah, but
Oh,
he managed to play for Chelsea and Liverpool.
I know how. He was shockingly bad. I was absolutely gutted when we bought him. Well, I ruined that really ruined.
I can't produce the name, but there must be a Tottenham player.
Yeah, I was going to say that
There's a
Daniel
player.
Klein was an improvement on him. That says it all, really. Because he was shit as well. Still playing, I see, Klein.
As,
He was playing for Palace at the weekend. I mean, for God's sake. I'm surprised he could get away from his, from his Instagram model parties to go to play football still, Klein. That's what he's usually doing, flying them about midweek. I wonder if he bothers. Oh, Babel was on the bet. Ryan Babel, yeah, he was a letdown. Such a shame because he's such a nice lad, and
he
he
seems
actually
to be
really.
a real Liverpool supporter.
Oh
Like,
yeah, he really cared. He wanted to. He wanted to be a Liverpool
I-
legend, and he just didn't work out for him at all. He just wasn't good enough, and it came down to it. It's a shame.
did you see his post after the Spurs game?
Oh yeah, well,
He
Liverpool
must have.
players should be allowed to post this out. The one with the referee and the Spurs kit. Yeah. You know where that came from, don't you? Because he got done for it. Don't you remember? Somebody got done for it. It might be. I think it was him. I'm sure it was him. Posted up after they played some after his. I think was it when he was at Liverpool. I'm pretty sure it was, wasn't it? When he was at Liverpool and he posted up a picture of like Howard Webb in a Man United kit or something after they'd beaten us with a really disputed goal or something. I'm sure it. Yeah, it was man. Yeah, Babel Howard Webb in the United top. That's right. Lack of talent, tourist mate. Babel tried. He loved Liverpool. Absolutely loved it. Such a nice lad. But do you remember when the Babel Copter thing was on? When they were Sky Sports were reporting and they were doing this big thing. They were doing the on their their deadline day. I don't know if you watch it, Shay. I don't know if you've ever seen it. They do on what they do on
Yeah, Dylan
deadline
is
day.
special.
Yeah, do you actually? I don't know if you get to see it, but anyway, they were doing this big thing about how Babel was in a helicopter flying over in London, jetting, going from one London team to a league team to another. As they're all fighting over trying to sign him and that. I was talking to him on it must have been Twitter. I was DMing him at the time. I'm thinking. I think it was where I was talking to him. Well, I was definitely chatting to him at the time, and he wasn't in a fucking helicopter at all. He was back home. He didn't even know anything about it. That's why now he puts up about the Babblecopter all the time and that. It's a standing joke because it was absolute bullshit. They just made it up. We don't even, nobody even knows why they came up with that, where that came from. It's just one of those, it was just an outright lie that they made up and I don't know why. It's really bizarre. Yeah, Howard Webb, he was clearly a Man United fan, let's be honest. It's astonishing that he's got to, when he say he was such a bad biased ref. Everyone used to call him United's 12th man, and now he's running the whole PGMOL. I mean, it's a little wonder Liverpool aren't getting many decisions going their way, is it? Let's be honest. It's probably why it is. It's probably what happened when they were setting at the VAR. We're doing the replay for Jones's tackle. Howard Webb probably stepped in and said, "Hey, make sure you stop it on that still." Uh, oh. It's a shame about Babel though, because he actually really wanted to succeed. Whereas someone like Shelby, he was just shit. I mean, he was just shit. He was just an arsehole, to be honest. Full of himself. He thought he was great. And then you get players like Harry Maguire who's so arrogant that even when they're playing shit, they don't seem to realise it or acknowledge it, do they? And some of the things he's coming out with now, I mean, it's just like it still isn't getting through to him, is it?
Apparently, he had a decent game against Brentford.
Mm. It wasn't the worst player on the pitch, I'll say that much, but your defence was shocking, so I don't see how you can say he was. How anyone could say he played a decent game. Your defence was poor. Yeah, Brentford was shit, though. That was the reason why you only conceded one rather than he was. Casemiro was a
No,
beast.
the reason we conceded one was because Onana can't stop the ball.
Oh God, yeah, but the fact is, you shouldn't have been in that position. But your defence was so bad. You were defending so poorly. I mean, Casemiro looks like he's about 85 at the moment. He moves like an old man. And then the rash tackles and that, and it's just nice. But Onana is shocking. His positioning is appalling, and he does move the wrong way before moving for a shot, and he jumps
Oh,
up rather when the ball's on the floor. It's like watching Mignolet. He jumps up and over rather than down. You know what I mean? Rather than just going down to save it, he jumps up and dives down to it. So he's adding on how big. It's got to go further.
yeah, like you said, he seems to like take one step to the opposite side of the ball before making the jump, before making the dive.
Mm. He's a poor keeper. He just is a bad keeper. How has he got to United? I mean, this isn't like something this isn't like a revelation. I've been saying this since before you signed him. I'm saying it's the wrong choice. I don't stand why you're signing him. I've been saying it for a long time. I'm saying, he's not one I'd choose at all. This isn't. So I don't understand how a club like United and oh fuck, who did he go to in Italy?
Inter Milan.
Inter Milan. Yeah, how with their
Oh,
squad?
with Inter Milan. Look, with Inter Milan, it's easy to see because he was on the market on a free,
Yes, of course,
and
he
they
could
had
have come back with the
Handanovic
ban,
as
couldn't he?
well.
Then it was free. Yeah, you're right. Could have just
On a free, worst case scenario, he becomes the backup.
Hmm. Yeah, true.
But
I'd
then we
forgotten
had to
about
go
that.
out and sell more than 45 million on him.
I just don't understand. And I know you're going to say Manya might not have been available, but like you'd have been better sticking with De Gea than signing Anana. I thought he might have improved. Might make things better in that. Like at least he can play the way Ten Hag wants to play. He can
Like I
play with the
say,
ball at his feet.
but like
But
I
he's
say,
not even good
but
at
like I
that.
say, what use is him being good on the ball if he can't keep the ball out of the net?
Yeah, I mean,
We 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 were conceding silly chances with De Gea, but at least he would bail us out in a lot of situations.
mm. But now you just conceded silly chances and they're going in because he's crap. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
with De Gea, we concede. Let's say we concede on an average two risky, silly, avoidable mistakes. But 9 times out of 10, we don't concede from that chance.
mm,
With Onana, we concede one silly chance, but we concede from that chance. So
what's
9 times out of 10, we're conceding that.
what's the improvement? None, if you ask me. I don't see. In fact, I think you're looking worse this season, and part of it has to come from him being being so bad. I mean, he's not even been that good with his kicking to I thought he'd be better with his kicking from what I'd seen. I thought he was better, but like it's got to be said, when you're at Inter Milan and Ajax, you're not under the same pressure as you are in the Premier League. Under the pressure he's been getting in the Premier League, he's looked very poor with his, not looked good at all with his feet, has he?
And surely the injuries in defense aren't gonna help a
No,
keeper
that's
settle
true.
in either.
That's true. That's to be
But
fair, you got to make a good point.
but he said you can see when he's on the ball that he's much more comfortable than De Gea would be. And he can pick a pass. It seems like he can pick a pass, but we can't make use of it. Right now he's a net loss on the team.
Mm. Yeah. Do you think that'll be? Do you think he'll stand by him, or do you think this is, the hill that he's going to die? Hill that he's going to die
No,
on, or
I've said it. I've said it before. I think it's time we give the new Turkish guy a chance.
Hmm.
Take Onana out of the headlights as well.
Do you think Ten Hag will do
Maybe
it?
like I think Ten Hag might be a bit too stubborn to do that.
Hmm. And me, I think this is a hill he's either going to die on or succeed on. He's either going to, Onana will either kill his career at United or he's going to make it because he'll come good. Not he might never be. He's never going to be a great keeper, Onana. But
No, but he
like,
might be a good system player for him.
yeah,
Or
he
like
might
you said, he
do.
might be the
Yeah,
he might be the axe that cuts off the head, or the axe
yeah.
that cuts off the poisonous tail.
He's certainly not going to ever make a great keeper. I mean, he refused to change his set the way he kept. You know what I mean? The way when he was at Ajax, he would refuse to listen to his coaches. For me, I don't understand why, if you're Ten Hag, why would you want to bring in a keeper who refused to listen to his coaches when you had work to him? That's the other thing I don't
Oh,
understand. It's a very strange situation. And if you're gonna recruit a goalkeeper and you know him, surely you'd look at him and go, "Well, yeah, I want to recruit. I'd like one I know, but I'd like one I know and could trust, and will listen to me and will do." Will work at his game to improve it rather than just say, no, this is how I play and that's it. Tough shit. If you don't like it, that's your problem. Because that was his attitude when they were saying to him about his stepping the wrong way and his jumping up and over and stuff. They tried to improve that and he wouldn't have it. You would, it's a very. I just don't understand it. It's one of those decisions. I think it's going to cost him his job, to be honest. I've got to say, I think this is where he's going wrong and what's going to see him looking for a new job in time, whether that's this season, next season, whatever. I do think Onana's the big issue that he's got.
I'm really
Uh,
interested to see the new guy actually,
It's interesting to
because
see.
he was a league winner actually. He won he won the league with, what was it, Trabzonspor?
All right. So it's not like he's a
Is
known
no, no, yeah,
keeper.
it's not like he's a random dude from completely out of nowhere. Just because we don't know him doesn't mean
Yeah.
he's never played, he's never kicked a ball. It just doesn't mean that.
Yeah, because
That
obviously we
seems to be the
we don't get.
attitude with a lot of the supporters, but
Mm, yeah, we
football
don't
is
get to
played
watch the
outside of
Turkish
England as
football.
well.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's not like it's widely shown the Turkish league. Let's be honest. So it's difficult for us to know much about Turkish players. Players that play in Turkey. I mean, rather than just Turkish players, because it's difficult to get a feel for how good they are because you can't watch the league as a rule. I do miss having my wife go. I can't. I've got to be honest. I really need to find a new thing because they restricted the amount of video time I could watch, so it just wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? It's paying so much for so little video footage that, like, you can only do one player
Oh,
profile because you're only watching a football
Fenerbahce,
player.
we signed him from Fenerbahce.
That's it, Fenerbahce. I thought when you said Trabzonspor, it didn't sound right, but I couldn't think who it was. Yeah, Fener. That makes sense. Much more likely to win the league. They're one of the big clubs.
Let me check if he actually did win the league or not.
Oh, she might be wrong. Anyone watch the Saudi League? No, I don't even know if it's covered, Taurus. I know it's covered. I mean, I know it's covered in Saudi Arabia, but I don't know if it's shown anywhere. Is it? Could you get coverage of the Saudi League? Seamus.
Actually, I think we do.
Really? Huh? We get J League, German, Italian, Spanish, English, obviously, French, MLS. I can't think of any. I've seen some Brazilian games shown and some Argentinian games shown, but as far as I'm aware, that's about it. There might be Australian A League even as well, shown sometimes. That's because it's quite near-ish, sort of. But yeah, they're not seeing any. I don't even know if they've got a. I wonder if they've got a league here. I don't actually know, to be honest.
I think they do, but it's not
Not league.
not the
Oh, I
highest
should
level
be
of
wrong.
competition.
Oh no, it won't be. One of my mates coaches a lot of kids who go on to play for the national team and that, yeah, and the level they're just. So it's so make my longer that awaited debut. I can tell you, I've been watching some of them play. Watching them training here. I've often thought, when you're just itching to just say, "Oh, come on," I mean, if it wasn't that, it's only because of the shoes I'll be wearing. I just don't want to ruin them. Because I'm a sneakerhead and like I've got nice shoes on, and I'm like, I'm not going to damage my shoes by getting involved. That's the only thing that stopped me because you just watching them and you think, oh, come on, because the lad, my mate who's coaches him, everyone just calls him Coach. I don't know why. He's just always, everyone knows him as Coach. And he just futsal as well. And you're thinking that, you just watching, you're just thinking, oh, God, you just want to, say something. You see the basics they're doing wrong and you're just thinking, and he doesn't, and he watches all sorts of football, but you're still thinking, you can see it and you just want to show them. Aye. Maybe I should find a team here. And if there isn't one, set one up. But everywhere's basketball courts here, or volleyball, or both. Volleyball and basketball is very big here. And badminton for some reason. Oh,
Badminton is quite big in the. I don't know if I can say what I'm trying to say on stream. That might be
Ooh.
racist.
Oh. Maybe start
And I
watching
can't,
that.
and I don't know how to say it in non-racist terms.
Oh dear. See? Yes, that's proof that it doesn't matter about the colour of your skin, you can still be a racist bastard even if you haven't got white skin, see? I always knew you were a bad boy. See?
No, I am not saying anything, and I'm not even gonna try to defend myself because I'm not guilty of anything.
It's so easy to say something racist. I actually realising it's racist. It's as I look on it, you can only really be considered racist if you actually mean it to be racist. If it's just a mistake, it's a mistake, isn't it? You know what I mean? Or you've said something you
But
didn't
also
realise.
sometimes, but also, I don't know if it's safe to say on stream. I'm gonna say it, but sometimes it's easier to describe something.
Chance.
No, sometimes it's easier to refer to a person by the color of the skin or the origin of the.
Yeah, I mean, is it racist when you're watching boxing and there's a black guy fighting a white guy and they're telling you who's who by the colour of their shorts? And I'm just thinking, isn't that more racist
Chris,
than just saying it's the
okay,
black guy
let
or
me
white
let,
guy?
let me
I mean, is it offensive?
let me blow your mind.
Black?
Let me blow your mind. Relatively not one of the most successful chess YouTube channel. Try to do a start a podcast
Oh,
interviewing the top players. And in chess, there are white pieces and
yeah,
black
white and
pieces.
black. Yeah.
It's like very second episode. The first episode went without much trouble. Second episode got taken down from YouTube because they were talking about white against black.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It's chess. I mean, of course it's white against black. That's the team. You know, that's it's. See that?
Yeah, like you discuss positions and theories and whatever, and then when you get to a certain stage when white is completely dominating black and white is crushing black, and those things are taken as being racist.
Jesus, it's a game. It's maybe they need to change the colours to red and blue or something for chess.
So maybe that is how they can get around the algorithms.
Did what the fuck? Taurus has just asked. Did you guys follow the Hans Neyman
Neiman, oh, Hans Neiman,
Buttplate scandal in
obviously.
chess? Please tell me that isn't it. Is this
Okay,
why
okay.
you got into
This is
chess?
this
'Cause
is
you like
something.
the idea of
Oh,
butt play?
this is the chess. This is the cheating scandal. The biggest cheating scandal in
I'm gonna.
chess. I was gonna say of 2022, but it's still not completely died off. So Hans Niemann is a young player
Right,
who wa- who has had previous teams being banned from chess websites, online games
right.
for cheating. He actually accepts that he cheated quite a few times before, and he was banned and all that. And then once he got invitation to a top level chess tournament, he played the reigning, defending, almost kind of sort of the greatest player of all time, Magnus Carlsen, and
I was to say no. He
he
definitely didn't
is
play the greatest of all time because I haven't played him.
no. No, he faced off against the world champion Magnus in
Mm.
the tournament, like kind of sort of crushed him. there
Wow.
are there are ways to defeat someone. He absolutely obliterated him, and then Magnus withdrew from the tournament, accusing him of basically cheating
Mm.
in some way, shape, or form.
And it
And
turned out he
then
did.
there was a lawsuit. There was a what? I think it was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Carlson and all that. Hans was again. There were theories. There were conspiracy theories like floating about like how he cheated. The most famous one is with anal beads.
Right.
Chess is weird twist.
You're
Like
going to have
it's
to explain
conspiracy.
this. How can you cheat using anal beads in chess? I've got, this is really way over my head or under my head actually thinking about it. But yeah,
The
so
thing is, I don't, and like no one can say for sure whether he cheated or not. But the thing is, Hans seems incapable of actually describing and analyzing his own games,
hmm,
and
which
that is a
suggests,
big tell.
yeah, which
It's a
suggests he
big
doesn't
tell.
know what he's doing. He's got some. So basically, you mean somebody's directing him what to do, like a computer in it or something? Yeah, Billy would explain
Yeah,
this
like
properly.
he was
He
getting so.
understands how to
It's
do it with
yeah,
anal
yeah. One of
beads.
the conspiracies, he was getting some clues and hints from anal beads and all those like trackers and whatever. And then
Okay.
finally the lawsuit was thrown out. They reached some kind of settlement. He came back to chess.com again, and then a previous world champion, like Vladimir Kramnik was. I don't know how they got into a match, and Kramnik basically refused to play against him.
Mhm.
And now Kramnik has actually quit the whole chess.com site, saying he's not gonna play against cheaters and all that. So I think it's a cloud that's gonna hang over Hans Niemann's head forever. And I actually think once a cheater, if you were cheating when you were 2500 and when you were like only only an average GM, you're obviously gonna. There's always a chance that you're gonna cheat against better players.
Well, if you're not being funny, if you cheat once, that's you can learn and not do, and you're not doing it again. That's one thing. But if he's already admitted cheating a few times, there isn't a one-off. Then you've got to say that's the sign of a cheat. You just that is what you do, and yeah, that doesn't sound like. But I'm not sure I understand how the anal beads comes into it. This seems just
Nobody
a bit.
understands how.
This
Nobody
is a bit weird.
understands exactly how anal beads could have been used.
Well, then how
And
did
don't
this
believe
come
anyone.
out?
And don't believe anyone if they say they actually do know how it works, unless they actually like genuinely have figured it out or
So how?
probably actually use
So
it themselves.
so why did this theory that it's anal beads come about then? If nobody knows how it works?
Because there are weird people throwing weird theories. That's the only explanation I can give you.
Is this just something you talk about with Rob or something? Is that why you play chess?
No, no, no,
Is
no,
this
no, no.
is this you and Rob fantasizing together? Are you sure
Oh,
this is
and,
an actual
no, no, no,
genuine
no.
theory
This
that's come up, or is this just you two fantasizing about what you'd like to do?
no. Anal beads was one of the like main theories floating about. Even Elon Musk had
Oh,
to chime in on that.
oh God, he would. I really can't stand that man. Sorry, hate him. Really dislike him. He was at all those parties when kids were being sold and that by that woman.
And actually, Hans Zimmer is like half a point behind the leader in the ongoing US championships.
Half a point behind. How does that? So basically, he's becoming one of the top players, top ranked players. I mean, but everyone knows he's a cheat.
Basically, he's second in the standings for US Chess Championship.
So basically, he's like Lance Armstrong. Everyone knows he's cheating, but nobody proves it. Can prove it at the time.
It's more
Except he
like
hasn't got. Except he can't
uh,
throw cancer out to stop people questioning him, and the
it's more like
federation
it's
itself
more
isn't
like players.
protecting him.
No, no, it's more like players who get done for cheating, like doping, fail the doping test, serve the ban, and then come back and again like they're again starting to
Mm,
rise through the ranks. It's actually like that.
yeah. Well, yeah. So it's more like Carl Lewis winning the gold medal then after being banned a few times in university athletics times, but obviously, it was okay because he's American, and you're not allowed to blame him or call him a cheat because he's American, and it's only the Canadian that cheated according to that kind of thing. You mean?
Yeah, it's pretty much because he was caught cheating against
So what did he
like
do then? He was
weaker
cheating.
competition. If you want to cheat online, it's pretty easy.
Oh, you mean he's cheating in online play? I see. This isn't face to face chess.
But
He's
but but
got caught cheating in.
but he admitted to
Except,
cheating on in the online tournaments,
hmm.
and it's not like you and me playing against each other. There are like serious tournaments with
Is
top
there much money
players,
involved?
decent money. Yeah, there is money involved in like top level online tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even before COVID there was, but after COVID there are genuinely like top level tournaments played online.
Wow. Yeah.
The thing is, he got done for cheating before COVID, so like his reasoning for how he got better is like
Oh, he claims he practiced
traveling,
work.
yeah, traveling around, back like living out of a suitcase for playing from one tournament to another. That's how he got better. That's his reasoning why he's better now.
Mm. not anal beads or butt plugs. I'm still going with it's just you and Rob fantasizing, and you've spread that as a rumor because while you were talking about it during your online games. I'm sure that's what it is. So does Rob ever beat you at chess?
Yeah, he does.
He does. Oh, I thought you said he
Yeah,
was
he
no good.
does.
I thought he wasn't
No,
any good. Like
he
you
was no
see.
good, but now he's gotten better.
So he has got anal beads then. That's how you know it now. See, it is cheating. He's got anal beads as well. I bet you that's what it is.
Or maybe I'm not half as smart as I portray myself to be.
Wow,
Now you tell me which one is more likely.
well, you come across as a bit thick, to be fair. So I would say it's probably more likely he's got anal beads. I've got to say. I'm joking on the bit thick bit, by the way. But the anal beads are still more likely, I think. This is Rob, after all. Definitely going with the
Yeah,
anal
it
beads.
does actually. Yeah, it does actually seem like something Rob would be completely like. Rob would be all over it. He probably owns one.
I'm
Like
sure
he
I'm
owns
sure
one.
he does. I'd be probably about 90% certain that he'll have anal beads. Seems the type. You can tell. Whatever happened to Rob? Got a change of job. So he was no longer. He used to have Fridays off, which is why we were doing them on a Thursday in the first. One of the reasons why we did them on a Thursday. But now
No,
with one,
no,
with
no.
one
The
of
reason
many.
we
One of the
the
reasons why
reason we
he
did
was
it
off
on
on a
Thursday was
Thursday.
because it was Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, but I mean, one
Because
of the
see you
reasons why
next
he.
Tuesday and see you next Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, one of the reasons why he did the Thursday, I meant, is what I was trying to say, is why he did the Thursday is because he had the Friday off, so we could stay up late, and because it's like 4 a.m. it started or something ridiculous there, isn't it, when we started them? So it was like early hours in the morning anyway. So he'd stay up. He used to do things like he'd go because he lived with his parents. Then he'd go down and sit in his car and, and be doing the recording in there, wouldn't he?
He'd be like sitting in the car doing the podcast, talking around, looking for
He'd be
his.
going to McDonald's and cruising and stuff like that. Well, while we were
Yeah, he
recording.
would talk. Yeah, he would go dogging Doris.
So you are Jindungle as well as Dreadman.
That's
Just to
that's
confuse
my
me.
father's. That's my father's account. I've still
Ah,
not
right.
logged out.
That's just to confuse me, is it? You thought you'd use two names.
Yeah,
Watch
maybe
out,
you
Taurus.
could have
Don't
gone.
let him.
No,
Watch.
I
He's
should have
spying on
gone.
you.
I should have gone with that's my alter ego instead of telling the truth.
Yeah. You don't sound that excited. But I used to play a lot as a kid. Yeah, I used to play in primary school, but I got a bit. They just get bored. It takes too long. People take too long to make their move, and you've already planned. Like you can see all your moves ahead. But like it only takes a few seconds, doesn't it, to figure out your next move and look at all the possibilities because you've got them planned out from the previous one. You know what I mean? Especially if you're playing like me dad. Dad takes hours to make a move. I mean, hours. He used to play um, chess with my uncle, and they used to play it over they used to do it by postcard. In the days before the internet. Bizarre. Just thinking, do you remember? You wouldn't remember stuff like that, but it used to be postal chess. Used to be a thing. You used to have games as well. Used to do by post. Like role-playing games and stuff. You used to be able to play them by mail. I never played any, but I used to see the adverts like in the newspaper and on the TV. I know they would have been in the been on the TV. They would have been magazines and stuff. I spend my spare time running a podcast and playing PES 2021 Master League. 20. What podcast you do, Taurus? Put a little advert out for the one person that, basically me and Seamus are the only other people that listen to this. they only are the ones that will read this. So, but at least you get two. You might get two new listeners. Well, maybe one because I'll probably forget. But Seamus will have a look, won't you, Seamus?
I probably would.
He'll listen. He's got nothing else to do. When he's meant to be working, he's usually just half asleep, aren't you?
No, you can't go around sharing secrets.
It's not a secret, mate. Everyone knows. Everyone knows that. It's what most people do when they work in the shop. Like, called Living for the Weeknight. It's fairly new, 5 episodes in, but I talk to people about how they balance their 9 to 5 job with their passion. What do you get? Who do you get on there? Do you get like famous people on, or is it just ordinary? Like Seamus could Seamus be on an episode?
But then that would just end his luck.
Yeah, that'd kill it. No, Dad, you good point. Don't get him. So I've had a DJ on, a photography journalist, and artist. Cool. It's difficult when you got a 9 to 5 job. If you're earning a lot in your day job, you can do what you like. Like if you're Calvin Harris, you can go to every Liverpool game, and it's not a problem, is it? But when you're a struggling DJ, you end up, you're difficult. Still figuring out where I want to go with it. Sounds good. I might check it out, or at least subscribe to it, even if I don't actually get around to listening to it. So at least you've got an extra subscriber, because that all helps, doesn't it? If I can figure out how to do it on back, if I can figure out how to do it without proper PC, God, I miss my PC, I tell you. Do you know, nightmare we had setting this up? Oh, Jesus. Nightmare had setting this up tonight because the laptop just wouldn't respond. I could see Billy was talking, but no sound was coming through my headphones. And it turned out the program that does the sounds had frozen, but you couldn't tell it had frozen. So I was checking, it didn't register that it was frozen. I was changing the settings and nothing was changing in it. And then suddenly it just shut itself down, vanished, and then that started working. Spotify. I'll sign up for a shit. Where's my phone? I don't know how to. Spotify. I've got Spotify somewhere. I'll sign up now while I remember. Living
For the
for
weeknight.
the week. There's lots of living for the weekend. Living for the weeknight. Social episodes. Episode 5. Artists, photography artist, and MF Doom. Oh, I don't know what MF Doom is, but I'll follow it anyway. So, yeah, it should send them to me now, and then if I don't get round to it, I won't get. But at least I've signed up, so you've got the extra thing. It all helps with the algorithm, doesn't it? So I'll try and get round to it. I didn't know MF Doom 2. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I've seen it a few times written because like I said, I love shoes is my thing. Sneakers, I mean, I absolutely love trainers, and I've seen MF Doom mention, somebody did a pair of, custom ones for MF Doom, and I thought it was a comic book or something. I'm still not sure what it is because I couldn't tell from the picture, from the artwork. I just had no idea whether it's a band, a wrestler, comic book, what, a manga cartoon or anything. Ah, right. See, yeah, never heard of him. I mean, I don't know them. See, my problem is names go over my head. Don't know any. I like rap music. I listen to rap as a rule, but I don't actually take any notice of who sung the song. Who's done the song. I just like if I like the song, I like it and that. So I never get these like when people go crazy for the Travis Scott shoes, except when they're nice ones. The only reason I try and buy them is because I know that I could sell them afterwards for twice the money or more. But I don't remember him at all. No, I don't. Oh. Anyway, I think we better call it here because we're just rambling on about nothing, aren't we? We're not even talking about football. We haven't for I don't think we've talked about football for an hour, have we? So,
I didn't go here because only one of us watched any football this week.
yeah, that was Billy, and he's gone. No, I did actually watch a couple of games, but I didn't watch as many as usual for some reason. I don't actually know why.
I,
Can't
th- I
remember.
actually I actually thought you were gonna do a watch along for Arsenal and Man City. I was
Did
thinking
think
maybe I
about.
should join in, and then I fell asleep.
Yeah, I did think about, but then I just thought I really don't care about Arsenal, Man U. It's Man City. It's just I don't really want to watch them. Just bore me. And it's just there's such a tedious pass, going nowhere, pass. Still, it goes back to the keeper. It's just like, yeah. No, I'll let you know, Luckender, if I download chess. Oh, see, you have a new chess buddy, mate. You have a new chess buddy. Just watch him. He'll have you wearing those anal beads in no time. Oh yeah, telling you. Just don't listen to his advice. That's when you know you're in trouble. You can leave a post address to me at 77. I'll just confuse me. If you leave it addressed to 77, I won't know who the hell it is. Oh, I don't know. Your girlfriend might do. She mightn't mind. Yeah, take care. Right, we better call it there. So we'll see you next Thursday. Everyone's listening. Take care, everyone. What what one what one what one what one what what?
It's a typo.
Yeah, but what does it mean? What are you actually trying to ask or say?
No, he's saying his girlfriend won't like, and I'm just gonna ask him something.
Oh, right. So I'll leave it running for a bit, shall I? See it and finish what you're typing.
Yeah, it's already done. It's already done.
I'm just waiting for someone to come up so I can share. Yeah, so I'll end this. Just talk amongst yourself, anybody. Yeah. Well, has it not come through? Or has it come through
Right.
and it's just not showing up on my screen? Or have you not sent
Maybe
it?
you should also take up chess. I'm telling you, three plus zero blitz.
I'm still on top chat. That's why. I used to play chess. I'm not really that, but like I said, it takes too long. I
And
don't
get an
have the time.
account.
I don't have the time.
Create an account for online chess, and then I can beat your ass until you start beating
So
mine.
beating my ass, eh? Hey, see, telling you, hazel beans, you love it. Oh, take care, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
serious.
end this
Yeah,
before we get shut down.
Yeah. Oh, who cares? Even YouTube doesn't listen
Yeah, that's true. They
to
take
us
no
this
notice.
far long.
Yeah, they're bored by now. Yeah, even the bots have fallen asleep. See you next Thursday, everyone.
Remember when we used to get bots in the chat?
Oh yeah, we used to. Yeah, even they've given up because they got that bored. They're giving up. Bless them. Anyway, I'm ending it now. Take care. See
Yeah,
you
bye
next
bye.
Thursday.
See you next Thursday.